Hi. The tea is piping hot. The tea is piping hot. Y'all been sending this to me. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I love you all. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Absolutely. Boom. Okay. There we go. So I love you guys. Hello. Hi, hi, hi. Saturday. I hope everyone's having a good day. I definitely am. I'm about to leave after this. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let me just hop on live and talk about this because I'm sure the people are going to want to hear from the Davey way. It's like, oh, okay, well, why not? So we got some tea. Allegedly, Jarvis Butts, the person whom allegedly took Naziah Harris's life, Jarvis Butts, his brother has been speaking, and allegedly his brother knows exactly what happened to Naziah. Okay? 100%. All right? Now, this is again allegedly Naziah's unalive, Jarvis Butts' brother, who says that he has the information and what happened to Naziah. And not only did he state what happened to her, but he states that Shannon had everything to do with unaliving her. Shannon Harris, her aunt, is the reason Naziah is gone, and that allegedly Jarvis Butts did not actually take Naziah's life. He doesn't have anything to do with that part, technically, but he did have everything to do with assisting with Naziah get rid of her baby. So, Guerrero. Now, I'm going to play the clip in its entirety. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. And then I'll play it again, of course, and then like we'll break it down as it goes through. But again, this is all alleged. I don't know it to be like 100% true, but a lot of the stuff sounds plausible, and a lot of the stuff kind of I'm still kind of confused by. But I only heard a couple times, so like, well, not in its entirety, but because I'm trying to like think as he's talking and think about what the police said versus to what he's saying. So of course my mind's going everywhere. But I will let him speak, okay? And I will let y'all hear. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. Again, this is not clickbait. I don't do clickbait. He says that Jarvis Butts and Naziah, Shannon was the main protagonist within the situation, but he had I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot, okay? And without holding you any further, please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Shout out to Katrika. I think that's how you say her name. Katrika Adams on TikTok. She is whom I've been seeing a lot of people share her clips. So we're gonna get right into it. Now again, this is Jarvis's brother speaking. Jarvis Butts, his brother, is speaking on what allegedly happened to Naziah Harris. Let's get into it. Hello. Hello. Can we get some sound, please? Hold on 1 second. Why is the sound not playing? Oh, it's weird. Hold on 1 second. That's weird. All right. 1 second. Oops. Let me restart my computer because I think that that's what's going on. So I'm going to restart that really quick. But anyways, we'll talk. You remind me of my bestie so much. Oh, shout out to you and shout out to your bestie. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. I am getting this loaded up. I don't know why. Oh, that's why. Oh, sorry. That's why. Okay, we got it. So, yes. So we're going to play that clip right now. This is allegedly Jarvis Butts' brother. Again, I am calling the police. I absolutely am. Now, Jarvis' brother I don't know why it took him so long to come forward and allegedly speak. From what I'm seeing, actually, this is recent. Of him coming forward and saying this, and to have this type of information is very crucial to keeping Jarvis in jail without having her body, especially. So I think that the police needs to be spoken to. I don't know why this is coming out on the internet before this is being brought to the police and prosecution. So I'm very annoyed that this is like on TikTok and Facebook and places like that, but it's not at the Detroit Police Department. I'm extremely confused. She's a 13-year-old girl. You know that she was unalived. You know the people that are involved. I don't understand why you were not speaking for her. In the preliminary, they had 23 people come forward and testify and be witnesses to these things that happen to Naziah. So I'm very confused by that. I'm definitely side-eyeing that. Why you haven't went to the authorities with this information. And if you have went to the authorities with this information, I don't understand why in the case before it actually went to trial why you didn't speak. And I also don't understand why you didn't speak with be subpoenaed to speak, or just go in and willingly do it yourself. So I am questioning that. I think that's a little weird, unless he just found this information out. That's the only thing that I can think of. But yeah, so we're gonna get into this clip. Now, it is a little bit harder to hear, but I do have it turned all the way. Y'all should be able to hear better. So this is Jarvis Butt's brother, allegedly. And I'll say allegedly because we don't see him. We just hear him. So let's get into what he said. He says Shannon Harris had everything to do with the Naziah passing away, among other things of her being poisoned with an antifreeze prior to going to school. That's another thing that I'm confused by, but let's keep going. I'll in its entirety, and then we'll go from there.
To try uh, some antifreeze or whatever he's going to try to get rid of the baby. He gave that to her, you know what I'm saying, and trying to do whatever he could do. She was feeling sick or whatever. All right, so he gets in the car, drops off to go back home.
And my screen is not dirty. That is the screen. That literally. So I'll just yeah.
All right, so she gets out to go home. She go in the house. Shannon didn't get into it with her. They didn't call to see if she was at Jarvis' house because Shannon already knew she was at Jarvis' house because she called to get directions earlier that day while she was at school. So once she get back, they get to fussing at her for going up to Jarvis' shop and calling fast and this and that. Then it all came out, confirming that she was pregnant, was Jarvis' baby.
Whom is speaking is Jarvis Butts' brother. Jarvis Butts, the man who allegedly took Naziah's life, who is standing trial right now to her murder, first degree murder. This is his brother. So Jarvis Butts' brother, okay? The man being accused of unaliving Naziah, his brother. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like.
Shannon lost it. Shannon lost it real bad and jumped on Naziah, beating her, hitting her in the head with some object right there in the house that they overlooking, and killed Naziah because she was already probably having complications. Remember, whatever they've been giving her to try to get rid of the baby. Remember, she was sick earlier that day and on the floor. Instead of them calling the nurse, they called the counselor. School failed them. So once Shannon beats on it, she passes out, she dies right there. So they panic. So they get her, the twin sister, help Shannon get her into the mama car, and they go and meet Jarvis. Meet Jarvis out there by where the other girlfriend lives. And Jarvis was going to all these different houses at his different girlfriend house, establishing his alibi. Because he knew what had happened between her and Shannon. He had nothing to do with it, but knew that he was also the last person seen with her and probably would be questioned too about her being unalive. So once Shannon and the sister go out there to meet them out there, they get rid of the body, right? So once they get rid of the body, he tells them, bring some extra clothes or whatever. So they get rid of the body and they throw those extra clothes out, which is working. And I don't understand how that's working, because we know what she had on the day at school. We know what she left, got off the bus with clothes she had on. But they threw out some different clothes with limited amount of blood and and stuff on it. Why? Because they only took their jacket off for her, the jacket off for her, and probably some other shoes and stuff that was already in the house. But she's still buried in what we saw her in, which is that colorful jacket, them jeans, and some other shoes, whatever she is. And I don't think she buried nowhere where she can't be found because they somewhere else and make people go search in the opposite direction. So she is deceased, but she was killed by Shannon in a rage because of her jealousy or whatever she had going on with Jarvis. And at the end of the day, mom and the sister knows what Shannon did, and they're not protecting Jarvis, they're protecting Shannon. And Shannon hoping that Jarvis don't snitch on him, but he's not going to tell until after they try and convict him of the murder, and he see the difference between the time. Remember, his lawyer said they're not going to contest and fight the fact that he had inappropriate relations with her. Okay, go ahead and bound it over. But what we are fighting is the murder. Why? Because there's no body. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Now, you do know that Shannon and all of them have already made deals with the DA. Why? Because without Shannon, the mom, King, the fiance, without all those people, they would not have a case for murder against this young lady. So they pieced up parts of their statements and testimonies to present what it was they wanted to present to the court. And he was last seen with it, and he's the one that killed him. But believe me, there's other text messages, all kind of messages in their phones that they took. But if they convict them and show that they are also guilty, then who would be on the stand and testify or could testify against Jarvis? Because they all could get up there and plead the fifth because they all are being charged. So therefore, they're letting them off and letting them go. They made a deal. They agreed to testify against Jarvis and say what it is that they want them to say. With in turn keeps them from being prosecuted and charged with anything. But trust me, they know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened to her. But they want to get Jarvis and get Jarvis off the street because they feel like he's the problem. He's the ringleader. But they
I have so much to say. Like, I have so much to say. Like, do you understand me? I have so much to say, and I also have so many questions. Okay, a lot of questions. Okay, now I'm gonna let it play again because I know a lot of y'all are just getting here. Again, this is Jarvis Butts' brother, allegedly, speaking on what he was either told or what he knows of happened to Naziyah. Okay, Naziah Harris. And he is stating that Jarvis was obviously it was his idea to unalive the baby inside of Naziah, but he had no intention of ending Naziah's life, and that he's also alleging that Naziah was poisoned with the antifreeze before she went to school that day on January 9th. And when Naziah got to school, I guess she was feeling sick and she ended up like falling out at school. And he states that she requested a nurse, but I guess the nurse wasn't available, so she requested a counselor instead. And although the counselor wasn't there that day, I believe the counselor wasn't there. I don't quote me. But because I know she didn't speak to one, so I don't know if they just weren't there or not. But I'm really confused about all of this because no one in the school said anything about Naziah being sick. No one in the school said anything. The superintendent, none of those people said anything about any reports of her falling ill, of her being so sick that she couldn't focus in class, or that no one said anything like that. No, nobody. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I did not hear of anything like that. And then another thing, if she was so ill, then why didn't she wait for an adult to speak to an adult. Like, why would she still go get on the bus if she's that ill? Also, in class that day when she was smiling, just because you smile in the picture doesn't mean that you don't feel good, doesn't mean that you aren't, feeling ill or not feeling well. But it seemed as if she was fine in the picture. And not only that, because that's not the last picture of her. It's annoying when people say that the last picture of Naziah in school. No, the last picture, technically, that Naziah took was on the bus. And then the last still of her was on the bus as well. She was in the front seat. So I'm confused by that. She didn't seem ill. The bus driver didn't say that she said she was ill or that she couldn't focus or that he had to wake her up, or anything like that. Her getting off the bus, walking down the street, the ring camera shows her just walking past, not like holding her stomach or walking slower, or something like that, showing the signs of a person that's ill. Because if you're falling like to the ground and whatnot, movement is not on your list of priorities. When you are that ill, sometimes you just need to be carried away, like by ambulance, and drinking antifreeze, being poisoned by antifreeze. I don't see her doing too much like walking around, stuff like that. So I don't know. But I mean, hey, this is what he says that he heard. So that I'm definitely stuck on. Again, so now that there's more people here, I'm gonna play it one more time in its entirety. Again, this is Jarvis Butt's a brother, allegedly, speaking, and to whom he's speaking to. I don't exactly know, but I know Katrika or Katrika is the channel, and I'll show you her name. Katrika, is it Katrika Adams? Is on her TikTok, and it's also on her Facebook, and on her Insta. So it's about a 5 minute clip, about 5 minutes and 16 seconds. I'm going to let it play again in its entirety so that y'all can hear it and judge it for yourself. And then we will play the video and like stop it and break down parts as we go through. So this is very interesting, though. It's very interesting. This is someone from allegedly, the immediate family of Jarvis. So it is possible of him having information that we don't have or knowing things that we don't know. So I'm interested to see if he's willing to go to the police about this and testify about it, because he's stating that it wasn't necessarily fully Jarvis's fault and that his lawyer is not fighting the fact that he had an inappropriate sexual relationship going on with the Naziah. I don't see how he could deny that. Not only the text messages, but other witness accounts and testimonies about them being underage and him, offering them or trying to get them to offer him sexual pleasure or sexual gratification. So that's set in stone. They have all the proof they need to charge him with all of that. The main issue is the murder charge, that they are going to have some trouble once this trial really goes in locking it on him without a body or cause of death. So if we don't have a body, at least we could have a cause of death, so that could help keep the first degree murder charge a first degree murder charge, because now they know why she passed away. But the confusing part about her passing away is that he's stating that it wasn't Jarvis. He's stating that it was Shannon that took a blunt object. And if you look at my other lives, I've stated that. I said, I believe that maybe Shannon was there, because I do believe she was extremely complicit, not only complicit, but a part of it, participated in it, an accessory, not just, I know what, no, I believe she had everything to do with it. And I said rather, they were trying to force her to drink it and Naziah tried to run or something like that. And maybe somebody hit her with an object to get her not to run, or just out of a fit of rage, being angry, finding certain things out, hurting and harming Naziah, and before you look up, it's like, oh my God, she's dead. And now it's too late, like what it happened. So, So we'll see. We'll see. Very interesting. Very interesting. I will say that. Very interesting. Shout out to Ebony Jones. There was another super sticker I missed too. Let me see if I can find it. Ooh, boom, there it is. Shout out to Lo Soto. Hi, boo. Oh my God, I love you, Lo Soto. Hi, baby. Thank you for the super sticker. Shout out to Ebony. Thank you as well for the super sticker. She says, you don't know how far down the rabbit hole I was going in this case to get answers. And baby, I'm just listening to you. I'm caught up. Justice for Naziah. Thank you so much for being here, sweetheart, and listening. And thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to play this. This is a rabbit hole, quite a rabbit hole. But again, I'm going to play it in its entirety. For all the people that weren't here. Again, this is Jarvis Butt's brother, allegedly, speaking on what happened to Naziah.
OTN to try freeze or whatever he was going to try to get rid of the baby. He gave that to her, you know what I'm saying, and trying to do whatever he could do. She was feeling sick or whatever. All right, so he gets her in the car, drops her off to go back home. All right, when she gets out to go home, she go in the house. Shannon and them get into it with her. They didn't call and see if she was at Jarvis' house because Shannon already knew she was at Jarvis' house because she called to get directions earlier that day while she was at school. So when she get back, they get to fussing at her for going up to Jarvis' shop and calling fast and this and that. Then it all came out, you know, confirming that she was pregnant with Jarvis' baby. And Shannon lost it. Shannon lost it real bad and jumped on Naziah, beating her, hitting her in the head with some object right there in that house that they overlooking. And killed Naziah because she was already probably having complications. Remember, from whatever they've been giving her to try to get rid of the baby. Remember, she was sick earlier that day and on the floor. Instead of them calling the nurse, they called the counselor. School failed them. So once Shannon beats on it, she passes out, she dies right there. So they panic. So they get her, the twin sister, help Shannon get her into the mama car, and they go and meet Jarvis. Meet Jarvis out there by where the other girlfriend lives. And Jarvis was going to all these different houses at his different girlfriend house, establishing his alibi. Because he knew what had happened between her and Shannon, that he had nothing to do with it, but knew that he was also the last person seen with her and probably would be questioned too about her being unalive. So once Shannon and the sister go out there to meet them out there, they get rid of the body, right? So once they get rid of the body, he tells them, you know, bring some extra clothes or whatever. So they get rid of the body and they throw those extra clothes out, which is working. And I don't understand how that's working, you know, because we know what she had on the day of school. We know where she left, got off the bus with clothes she had on. But they threw out some different clothes with limited amount of blood and stuff on it. Why? Because they only took the jacket off of her, and probably some other shoes and stuff that was already in the house. But she was buried in what we saw her in, which is that colorful jacket, them jeans, and some other shoes, wherever she is. And I don't think she buried nowhere where she can't be found because they somewhere else and make people go search in the opposite direction. So she is deceased, but she was killed by Shannon in a rage because of her jealousy or whatever she had going on with Jarvis. And at the end of the day, the mom and the sister knows what Shannon did, and they're not protecting Jarvis, they're protecting Shannon. And Shannon hoping that Jarvis don't snitch on him, but he's not going to tell until after they try and convict him of the murder and he see the difference between the time. Remember, his lawyer said they're not going to contest and fight the fact that he had inappropriate relations with her. Okay, go ahead and bound it over. But what we are fighting is murder. Why? Because there's no body. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Now, you do know that Shannon and all of them have already made deals with the DA. Why? Because without Shannon, the mom, King, the fiance, without all those people, they would not have a case for murder against this young lady. So they pieced up parts of their statements and testimonies to present what it was they wanted to present to the court. And he was last seen with it, and he's the one that killed him. But believe me, there's other text messages, all kind of messages in their phones that they took. But if they convict them and show that they are also guilty, then who would be on the stand and testify or could testify against Jarvis? Because they all could get up there and just plead the fifth because they all are being charged. So therefore, they're letting them off and letting them go. They made a deal. They agreed to testify against Jarvis and say what it is that they want them to say. In turn, keeps them from being prosecuted and charged with anything. But trust me, they know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened to her. But they want to get Jarvis and get Jarvis off the street. because they feel like he's the problem, he's the ringleader. But they
Wow. Wow. That is a lot. Oops, that's a lot. Again, I'm not saying that this man is not telling the truth. Again, this is allegedly Jarvis Butts' brother. I am not saying that he's not telling the truth. A lot of things that he's saying are very plausible. It sounds like they definitely could have happened. It's just the order of what he's saying it in. And it's not just the order, it's also him, a lot of maybes and possiblies and probablys. So that says to me that he doesn't fully know, but I think that he does have information that we do not have. And the information that he got, I think that he is what he feels like the things that were left out, like wasn't said, like how they maybe have did this or with the clothes being changed or this or that. I feel like he's just putting his opinion in there on what he thinks. But I do think, again, if this is legit and this is Jarvis's brother, I do believe that he's closer to the situation than any of us are. So if Jarvis is speaking, I think his family, because here's the thing, there was this clip of Jarvis and his ex fiance. And while they were arguing, because I can play it, it's just like a lot of profanity. But while they were arguing, you can tell that Jarvis cares a lot about his family and what his family thinks. Because she kept saying stuff about his family. Like, your family said I should stop effing with you. Your family said that, they don't even want to hear no more about you having kids because you got so many of them, blah, blah, blah. So then Jarvis's response was basically like, don't play with me when it comes to my fucking family, is what he was given. So, again, I do think that certain family members he may have confided in some way, shape, or form. And I believe that him confiding in the family members, I don't think it's been happening necessarily while he's been in jail. I think it happened while he was out. Because remember, he was free from January 9th, from the day that it happened, all the way until February 7th, the following month. So people were definitely asking him questions. People were definitely wanting to know, like, hey, what happened to her? They said that she was with you last. Even Jarvis's sister stated that she saw Naziah at the auto body shop. So I think that there is a higher probability that he may have said something to family, because family is going to want to know that. They're going to want to know, like, hey, why is everybody going around saying this about you? And they're saying you did this and da da da. And then having the track record that Jarvis has, I think that's another thing that threw the family off, with Naziah being missing, with Naziah being unalived. Jarvis does have a record of essaying young girls and doing very inappropriate things with them. Heinous, like go to jail for the rest of your life type of things. But what Jarvis is not known for is being an murderer, taking lives. He's never done that. So this is what makes me think that Shannon was involved, because a fit of rage can make a person do anything. We don't know what we're capable of until it's time to execute. So we can sit all day long and say, we wouldn't do this, we wouldn't do that, we wouldn't do this, we wouldn't do that. But then when that opportunity transpires, we truly don't know what we do until we're facing it. Because then you have to make the decision. When you're in situations, you really don't have time. You gotta just do. You gotta act on your feet, like improv. Like you gotta be up on your feet. And do so. But when it comes to a situation that it's unexpected and it just happens, whatever your reaction is to it is right there. Not pre-thought. There's no premeditation. Or anything to it. I don't hit women, but who's to say I was standing somewhere and a woman walked past me and slapped the spit out of my mouth? Who knows how I would actually react? I will hope, that I wouldn't hurt her or, retaliate, or anything like that. I will hope that I just call the police on her, or something like that. But being in that moment, my body may just react and wow, hit her right back. And I'll be like, ooh, I'm like, I'm sorry, but you know what you just did, but it don't excuse it. It don't make it better. And we can't rewind time. So I feel the same way with Shannon. I think if Shannon did find out that, I do think that she knew Naziah was pregnant. But what I don't think is, because Shannon also made Naziah look like Naziah was like this little skank. Like Naziah was a whore. basically. Like she was sleeping with all type of people, all type of boys and men, all of this stuff. And I think that she kept that in her mind for a a reasoning to keep dealing with Jarvis, knowing what was going on with her niece and Jarvis. But to excuse her decision and being with him still and dealing with Jarvis still, she put in her mind that she is sleeping with other boys and stuff. So to take a pregnancy test with her or buy her pregnancy test, Shannon, to Naziah, I don't necessarily think that she was thinking like 100% that that was Jarvis's baby, but I do think she did think that there was a probability, of it being his baby. I do think that she looked at Naziah as like a whore. I don't think she looked at Naziah as like a little wholesome 13-year-old girl that was being essayed by a man. I don't feel that way. I think that she felt like Naziah was stepping on her territory, and trying to come for her man and take her man away from her. The only thing that she deems valuable, again, Naziah was diehard for Jarvis. She would do anything that he said. Y'all have to think about that too. Shannon is the same way. She'll do anything for him, right? So they're both in the same mind frame when it comes to Jarvis. They're both in love with him. He is showing them love and affection, and they're not getting it from anywhere else. Nobody else is loving on them how Jarvis was. So it gives a person that has no self-esteem a false of security, a false sense of security, to where they think that this is their protector and their lover, and he's none of those things because he's doing it everywhere. So he's like a despicable man. But since they don't know anything different, since they don't have anything better or many options, they're willing to deal with it. They're willing to settle. And it's sad when it comes to Naziah because she was just a little girl. So she knew no different. But Shannon does. Shannon knows better. She just doesn't care. Shannon is very spicy. You can tell from her personality, she goes from zero to crazy, in milliseconds. It don't take much to get her riled up, to get her angry, to get her upset. You could tell she is a violent person, all of those things. So I think that makes sense that if there was going to be a fit of rage or anyone being in a fit of rage, it would have been Shannon, because Jarvis can control Naziah. Jarvis can control Shannon, but what he couldn't do is control the energy that the baby girl and what Shannon's energy against each other. He can't control that. Trying to get in between two women want the same person. He can't control that part. But independently, when he has them alone, it's easier for him to gaslight and manipulate, them into thinking another way, just to go to the other person and manipulate them into the same way of thinking. So when it's time for the confrontation, which the confrontation would have been Shannon finding out that, according to the brother, Shannon finding out that Naziah was pregnant by Jarvis, that could be enough to send her into just like, wow, just like, I'm gonna, and not think, it's just kind of like an outer body experience, like the body reacts and the mind is just kind of just watching. You feel like you don't have control of your body within that moment in time. So that's possible. And again, it's a plausible story. It's plausible. I just don't. There's no receipts to back it. At this point. So, but I am interested in hearing more in what was exactly told to him, and to separate the two. What was told to you and what you think about what was told to you. It sounds like he kind of merged it all together, instead of separating the two and being like, hey, I was told this, and this is what I think about what I was told. This is my opinion, based off of this information. Kind of looked like it kind of like merged, into one lane instead of separating them, because there is a separation from what was told to you, whether it was from Jarvis or another family member, and what you think. So I think that's the confusion that people are getting with it. So yeah, so I'm gonna play it again, and I'm gonna stop it at parts, and I'll also say what he said too, to clarify. So absolutely. So let's keep listening. I'm talking about Naziah. If you don't understand it, then that means you need to move the fuck around, not me, not at all. Yeah, because I know what I'm talking about. I'm giving commentary, my opinion based off of what I'm hearing. I don't know Naziah. I've never met her before in my life. I don't know Shannon. I don't know Jarvis. I don't know any of these people. And I've never alluded to. I'm not acting like I do. I've just been following the story. That's all. So that's what I'm talking about. So if you can't get with that, then that means that you need to move around, not me. Not at all. It's over 1,000 people, 1,100 people up in here. Okay? So they're definitely intrigued by me. Let's play this clip. That was cute.
Hotel to try some antifreeze or whatever he was gonna try to get rid of the baby.
So he said that he was gonna try. Hold on, let me rewind that. Hold on.
Hotel to try some antifreeze or whatever he was gonna try to get rid of the baby.
So at the beginning, when he starts talking, he says that that this happened at a motel. That allegedly at the motel, Jarvis gave Naziah some antifreeze to drink. Okay, so this is why I got confused by how did it go from, because if this happened at the hotel, then this was after school. So where does it come into play to where she would have felt ill from the antifreeze? Besides now, him, I do think he says like right after this that he feels that they gave her some the day before, and she was ill at school. So this is allegedly Jarvis Butts, who is being who is on trial right now for Naziah Harris's unaliving. This is allegedly his brother speaking.
You know what I'm saying? They had him trying to do whatever he could do. She was feeling sick or whatever.
He said he was trying to do whatever she could do, what he could do, but she was feeling sick or whatever. And then he says, all right, so he gets in the car.
So he gets in the car, he drops her off to go back home. All right, when she gets out to go home, she go in the house. Shannon didn't get into it with her. They didn't call and see if she was at Jarvis' house because Shannon already knew she was at.
Okay, so he says that after he gave Naziah the antifreeze to drink, that Jarvis took Naziah back to the house. Now, I've been saying from jump, I feel like Naziah went back home. She would have had to. I feel like she, and I'm not saying that this proves it. I'm just saying that it's plausible. You know, it's definitely plausible. Definitely.
At Jarvis' house because she called to get directions earlier that day while she's at school. So when she get back, they get to fussing at her for going up to Jarvis' shop and calling fans and this and that. Then it all came out, you know.
Hold on, because he's talking real fast and slow at the same time.
You know, confirming that she was pregnant was Jarvis' baby, and Shannon lost it. Shannon at school.
Because I'm trying to piece what he's saying together, but it sounds like they're different times. You know, that's the confusing part. It sounds like it's different times. That, you know, like this happened on this day, like this happened on Monday, but it's like he starts talking about Tuesday and then reverts back to that's confusing because it's like, okay, he gave her the antifreeze at the hotel. She started to feel ill and whatnot, so he took her, put her back in the car, took her back to Shannon's house, to her home where Shannon and Annette were, and then Naziah and Shannon got into it. Okay.
When she get back, they get to fussing at her for going up to Jarvis' shop and calling.
So they were fussing at her for going up to Jarvis's shop when she had came back to when he had dropped her.
For going up to Jarvis' shop and calling fairs and this and that. Then it all came.
And calling fairs. Who's fairs? What? Who's fairs? This is allegedly Jarvis's brother. Mods, can y'all keep putting that in the chat? Jarvis's brother speaking so we can stop saying it. So I'm confused. I'm confused. Calling fairs. What is fairs? Does anybody know what fairs means? Calling her fast very so much. I think he said calling her fast. Okay. Okay, calling her fast. Okay.
Now, you know, confirming that she was pregnant was Jarvis' baby, and Shannon lost it.
Okay, so it was confirmed when she was dropped back off after coming back from Jarvis's shop, which the sister, remember, Jarvis's brother testified that she saw Naziah at Jarvis's shop getting in and out of the vehicle, also going to the gas station to use the restroom or to buy something to eat, but saw Naziah going to the gas station and then saw Naziah get back into Jarvis's SUV inside of the shop. So he's saying that Naziah when she came home that day. But that would mean that, again, Jarvis and Shannon planned it. Because it's not a coincidence that the day that Jarvis was going to do the antifreeze drinking with Naziah was the same day she went missing and was never seen again. So how was it that she finds out that day that Naziah was pregnant by Jarvis? She already knew that, because that doesn't make any sense. That don't make any sense at all, because it's not like she was taking like a pregnancy test that day. No, you could visibly see that she was pregnant from what everybody was saying about Naziah. So she already knew that Naziah was pregnant, and I believe that she knew Jarvis was going to be taking Naziah and taking Naziah to get, allegedly have her drink it and when I can get rid of the baby. So that's all premeditation. Now, Naziah passing, I don't believe that that was premeditated, but I do think that getting rid of the baby was, right? And if the premeditation was to get rid of the child, then why would Shannon be, basically attacking Naziah and saying that basically, you fast, you pregnant, all of this, my Jarvis, da 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 da. You already knew that. You already did. Again, I think Shannon gave Jarvis the idea about the antifreeze and all that. I think she told him to look into that. I don't think that Jarvis thought that on his own. I don't, because he's an idiot. So he's dumb. Like, he's one of the world's dumbest criminals. Is how I feel about him. Like, he's stupid. Please hit the like. Shout out to over 1,400 people in the building. I really appreciate y'all being here. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Again, this is Jarvis Butt's brother, allegedly speaking, on this situation. So I'm confused by that. I mean, I'm not confused by the confrontation, because the confrontation makes sense. What about the confrontation doesn't make sense to me is, if she didn't know Naziah was Jarvis, then why attack her? Like, why do that? Like, why come at her, if you have no idea what was going on between her and Jarvis? You knew what Jarvis was doing, and I think that she was probably annoyed seeing that Naziah was still, like, pregnant, I guess. That what was supposed to happen didn't happen yet. And maybe Jarvis was getting, like, cold feet about the situation, dropping Naziah back off at home, because I don't understand why that happened. He's also about to allude that Naziah's life was taken inside Annette's home. Not out in the streets, not out in the public, or, nothing like that in the woods somewhere. In the home is where he's going to allege. So let's keep listening.
And jumped on Naziah, beating her, hitting her in the head with some object right there in the house that they overlooking. And
so he states that Shannon jumped on Naziah real bad and was hitting her all up in her head. Shout out to Vita. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for gifting 5 members. You're so sweet. Thank you. If you got a membership from Vita, please thank Vita. Thank you so much, Vita. And Shannon started to jump on Naziah and took a blunt object in the home that he says the police saying, "Hi, Roxy, boo," that the police are overlooking, and hit Naziah in the head with that item, and is thinking that that is when her life was taken. So her life was allegedly taken inside of the home. Now, that is plausible. It is. That is very plausible. In the area that Naziah lived in, it's not a good area. Like, it's a rougher area. So a lot of crimes and stuff happen over there. Low response times, or long response times when it comes to police showing up, and stuff like that. So again, it does give them time, which also makes sense into why Shannon and Annette did not call the police. Did not call the police today. They said that she didn't come home, and waited until the next day to go to the school and try to make it seem as if it was the school's fault because Naziah never came home after getting off the bus. Although I don't believe that. I do think she went there again. The same tablet that Naziah was using in school that day to contact Jarvis was the same tablet that the police found inside of Annette's home after, when they finally got, like, basically a search warrant to go in and search and find any evidence to make back the disappearance of Naziah. So again, and they never did anything with it. Like, they didn't power it on or anything like that. Like, it was just sitting there. So how did that get there? How did it get there if Naziah did not come back there? She would have had to. Or whoever did that to her had her belongings. And so that means that somebody in that home ended her life because they were the last person to see her, because she would have had that tablet with her. So how did it get here? Hello? So, and because the police didn't have the last messages that Naziah had text Jarvis until retrieving that tablet. Her other tablet didn't have those messages on it. So it made it look like their contact was a little further back when they had actually just spoke the day, the morning of her, the last time she was pretty much seen before getting out of school. So it will make sense into why Shannon and Annette did not call the police because it happened there. You know, it probably happened right in front of Annette, based off of what the brother's saying. I'm not saying this again. I'm just giving my opinions based off of what I'm hearing. So and it's plausible. There's things that he's saying that does make sense. That could align with what happened to her because I don't feel what happened to Naziah happened at that hotel or motel because someone would have saw something if she was like unconscious or if there was a body being pulled out or even if they were trying to pretend like she was drunk, you know, or something like that and like holding her up to get her to that would have been noticeable. It would have been memorable. Someone would have remembered that. I don't think that it happened there. I do think, like I said from jump, either outside or some rural area to where there's not many people around or many cars or traffic that goes by. I definitely felt that way. So I'm confused, but I'm intrigued. I'm confused, but I'm intrigued at the same time. And I agree. Is that Joker says a year later though? I agree. I'm like, because this information wasn't out in 2024. This was not out in 2020. From what I've seen, this came out today. Like this video came out today on Facebook, Katrika. It said like 5 or 6 hours ago before I came live, and on her TikTok it says 4 hours ago. Of putting this video up. So this sounds like recent information, either like today or yesterday, or something like that. So I do feel like this should be reported to the police immediately because this is not a game. If any of this is true or could be true, please report it because I am definitely sending it to the email that the Detroit police have for this case. I will definitely be sending it there. And I will also put that on my community feed just in case anybody else has any other information that they would like to report to the police, or if they see anything or hear anything that they feel like the police need to hear. Make sure y'all don't be a stranger. It's really easy. Just clip it, put it inside of your email attachments, and then put your, you know, where you're sending it to, and I'll put that on my community, and then you just hit enter, and it'll send it right over. You ain't even got to explain what it is. Just put Naziah name in there and you're good. They'll take care from there. So, but yeah, I'm definitely sending this as soon as I get off live. I'm going to email it over to the police department so that they can hear this because they need to hear it. Like, hello. So, but I do think that I feel like it's no time like the present. It's no time like the present. Just like you can't tell a victim how long to, when to wait, when to speak. I think it's the same thing with people that know information. Again, in the Black community, we are not trained in reporting this type of stuff. It's been ostracized and labeled as snitching, you know, even when you're help, you know, and whatnot. So we frown upon, you know, our saying snitches get put in ditches, you know, and whatnot. And to a lot of Black people, this type of information is looked at as a form of snitching. And again, this is his brother, allegedly. So that doesn't make it any better. So again, I can't be like, oh, well, you should have been said something. Not everybody moves at the same pace. Just because you're a good person or feel like, because we are all mandated reporters, that if you heard something like this or knew this information, that you will report it as soon as you heard it, does not mean everybody's going to move on the same wavelength. We are all different and we move at our own time. So I do feel like he should have said something a long time ago. I do feel that way, but I'm just of him saying it at all because he never had to say anything. If this is him and if this is the truth that he is saying, so I just appreciate him doing it at all because again, it does help us get closer. It does help us find answers, and it also will bring her closer to justice. So, but let's keep listening.
And kill Naziah because she was already probably having complications. Remember, from whatever they've been giving her to try to get rid of the baby.
Okay, so he said that she was probably already having complications. So I'm assuming when he's saying that the already having complications was Jarvis taking her to the motel and making her drink the antifreeze, bringing her back her, having complications of when I probably feeling a little loopy or not feeling the greatest, maybe wanting to, pass out or just go to sleep and whatnot. Shannon taking advantage of Naziah and at her weak moment and, putting her hands on her to the point to where she gets enraged while it's happening and took an object before she knew she already hit her with it. That's plausible. It is. I wouldn't say that doesn't sound true. It could. Again, he said that Naziah's life was taken in Shannon and Annette's home. And that would also, again, explain why they didn't call the police. What? Because they were getting rid of her. They were getting rid of her body. Also makes it plausible that no one saw Annette and, well, not Annette, Shannon and Jarvis getting rid of Naziah's body, putting her body in the car, because even him pulling the car around to the back or pulling in a yard or something like that and putting Naziah into the vehicle. This is at night, it's dark, so it is harder to see. So that would make sense. It does. That's plausible. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it happened. Not at all. I was not there. I was not there. But I'm saying that's plausible. Why? Because people are saying, like, well, what about the motel? What about the motel? What about the motel? He only checked in, and Naziah could have sat in the car while he checked in. And then after he checked in, Naziah drove to the back, because I believe there is a back entry to the hotel, took her in, they sat down, he got her to drink some of the antifreeze and whatnot. They went, got back in the car, went over to Annette's house. And whatever happened after that happened after that. So Jarvis, see, y'all saying that him using that as an alibi, not necessarily, because he was with his girlfriend. He didn't stay at the hotel. He did not stay at the hotel. At 8:30 in the morning, they pinned him from his girlfriend's house to the baby mama's house that lived on Balfour, Miss Johnson. So he went from his girlfriend's house that he was dating at the time, because he has so many women in his life. He went there, and then from there went to the baby mama's. So he never stayed at the hotel. That's why the staff don't remember really seeing him. Just remember him checking in, because I don't believe that he did. He spent the night at his girlfriend's house. He did not stay at the hotel. It's a cheap motel. Like, he didn't stay. I think that he was going to use that as his alibi, but that was for the alibi of the abortion, not her passing away. That's why the alibi changed. The alibi changed because the situation changed, and he ended up staying at his girlfriend's house instead of going back to the hotel. Because of all of the traveling around that night and whatnot, trying to get rid of her body, burying her, all of that. I think after that, he went back to his girlfriend's house, because that's where they pinned him, where he got pinged to her address. And she did wrote a statement, but she did not testify. She did not. His ex-fiance, some of his children's mothers, and some of the Harris family, and some of the Butts family testified, but she did not. The girlfriend's house that he was at that morning, before leaving around 8 o'clock and going to Balfour, and went out to return the vehicle. So I believe that the motel was originally supposed to be his alibi, and he had nothing to do with what happened to the baby, not what happened to Naziah, because that wasn't planned. I don't think that was planned. And I do think that, no, they still have not found her body. They have not. I do think that it is a high probability that Jarvis did not take Naziah's life. I'm not saying that he didn't, but it's not in his, he's an older male. He's in his 40s. So in 40 years, he's never taken a life. So it's not a pattern of his, but it doesn't mean that he didn't. It does, just because you haven't done something don't mean that you wouldn't. But I do think that it makes more sense of it being someone else being enraged by, because why would he be enraged? He's a manipulator, a gaslighter. He controls, the women. He has instilled a fear in them to control them just by his mouth, just using his words. So I don't think it would have needed to go that far for him to hurt Naziah, or end her. I don't think he had any intention of that. I think Jarvis had every intention of continuously sleeping with her. I think that he just wanted to get rid of the baby, but I think he had every intention of continuing what he was doing to her. I don't think that was going to stop. I don't think that was going to stop at all until Naziah found the strength or the right person got around her to let her know that what was going on was wrong. I think he had no intention of ending what he started with her. That was going to continue. Why would it not? He fully had her wrapped around his finger. She did whatever he said. And when she would say no or wouldn't feel like doing certain things, she would even apologize for it. That's when you know you're dealing with a narcissist, when someone is completely in the wrong but making you feel like you did something bad. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. So if he's telling her like, hey, come downstairs so I can do da da da, and she's just like, no, I don't feel like doing that. I just want to. So her body was telling her, because even if your mind, even if you don't know something, the body speaks. So when somebody's doing something to you or touching you, it's a feeling that you get, and that feeling, your conscience is letting you know, like, like this shouldn't be going on. But when you can't control the situation, sometimes you just kind of just allow it, just because you don't know what's going on. Like you don't. But the body does alarm you, of things when they're not supposed to be happening. And I think that was happening with Naziah. Her getting a little older and her body responding with her seeing other things go on, like seeing other people like at school date each other, and whatnot. And it's just like, okay, well, they all the same age. And whatnot. So, things are starting to click. It just takes, you a little longer when no one is telling you, that this is wrong. And everybody knows that it's happening. It's the don't ask, don't tell. The elephant in the room, everybody's walking past this elephant, but nobody's addressing it. So I do think that, but he would still make her feel badly about not wanting to do things at certain times and get undressed and stuff like that. So she'd feel like she did something wrong. She clearly wanted to have her baby, but he kept making her feel like it was a bad idea. The baby shouldn't be born, that we got to get rid of it, and whatnot. So I think that she would teeter-totter. She would go back and forth. One day she would be like, yeah, let's get rid of it. But that was to appease him, because that's what he did as a narcissist, gaslit her, convinced her that his way was the only way. And she didn't want to defy him. She didn't want to go against that. Same thing with Shannon. So, yeah, shout out to the real Empress. She said, I would take all the info to the DA. Somewhere, just not social media. I feel like this is the last place it should be. If it's reported to the police and stuff first, and then you want to come out here and say something, I mean, it is what it is. But I don't even think the police would recommend saying anything. They would be like, yeah, just quiet about this until court. After court, after this trial is over, go ahead, speak freely, say what you want. But I think this will be protected information, 100%. I think it will be protected information. So yeah, I do think it's plausible. Naziah, her life could have been taken at her grandmother's home. Police hit the like over 1,600 people in the building, 591 likes. Thank you to everyone who has double tapped that screen thus far. But I know we can do so much better than that. I know, right? So please hit that like. Thank you so much. You can support the channel for free. You don't have to send anything at all. All you have to do is just double tap that screen. I would really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who already has. No, they did not move.
She was sick earlier that day and on the floor. Instead of them calling the nurse, they called the counselor. The school failed them. So once
where's her mom on crack?
Shannon beats on it, she passes out, she dies right there. So they panic. So
he said that Shannon did what she did to Naziah. She passed out, passed away, and then they started to panic after, I'm assuming, Naziah didn't get up. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. 650 likes, over 1,800 people in the building. Thank you so much. Play.
Sister help Shannon get her into the mama car, and they go and meet Jarvis. Meet Jarvis out there where the other girlfriend lives.
So he's stating that they put Naziah inside of Annette's car. That's how they got the car over to, which again is plausible. So this is what he's saying. After Shannon took Naziah's life unexpectedly in a fit of rage, everybody panics. They put Naziah into Annette's car. They go over to the other baby mama, which is Lucretia, something like that, Johnson, the one who testified about finding Naziah's glasses in the back of her car because her son was playing with them. They go over there. He goes and gets the car from her, and then Shannon trailed him with Naziah in the car. That makes sense. it will make sense into why the baby mother didn't see Naziah that night. Now, this story makes it plausible that maybe she didn't see her. Maybe she didn't see her at all. Maybe she was already gone. Maybe she was already hid in the car, you know, not alive, but in Annette's car. So that same car. Hold on. Hold on. And let me show you that they have plenty of space. Come on now. Plenty of space. Hold on.
What's your name for the record?
I'm gonna pull that up really quick. I'm pretty sure I still have it. So I want y'all to see the vehicle, so y'all can put two and two together. Where's the neighborhood talk? I'll just go to neighborhood talk. I know the neighborhood talk has it. I know they have it. So when they were throwing burgers and stuff at Annette, that's the vehicle. Oh, I fucking hate this computer. That's the vehicle that they're talking about. I'm gonna pull that up because I just want y'all to see. Shouldn't be too far. They just posted it the other day. Because it's like a van, like a vanish type vehicle. So it is bigger. So it would have been easier to transport her inside of it. Very easy. Alrighty. Damn, so many postings. Sorry. They put a talk post like every 2 damn minutes, so. Here it is.
Well, the public wants to know where Naziah is.
So this is the vehicle. So this is the vehicle. He's saying that Shannon took and trailed Jarvis in to get rid of Naziah's body. So they had plenty of space. So it would be very hard driving in for anybody to notice them putting a body in the car or a body being in that car. Like they could easily put it in the trunk, back seat, you know, and whatnot. So it would not have been hard to, yeah. So I think the police check this car, get a subpoena for this car, get a warrant and see, because I'm again, these are idiots. These are not criminals. Like they're not. It's just a lack of information. So when you have a lack of information, it's not too much the police can do. Like they can't just search every vehicle that over there, you know, all like they can't do that. You know, they got to know what they're looking for and why. So that's what a search warrant is for. So that's plausible that they took the vehicle over, that Shannon trailed him in the vehicle with Naziah's body in the back. And then when they got over there to the baby mama's house, switched vehicles and then put Naziah inside of her car. And then Shannon drove that, or maybe Annette was in the car too. Maybe Annette was in the car too. Police hit the like. Police hit the like. Over 800 people in the, or 1,800 people in the building. Over 713 likes. Thank you so much. So she could have been in the car too. And when Shannon and what's his face, Jarvis put Naziah's body inside of the baby mama's car, and then you know Annette just pulled. You know they pulled on the street, switched the body. Then Annette drives back to the house, and Jarvis and Shannon get rid of the girl's body, get rid of Naziah. So very plausible, Very. That that could be true.
Whatever they've been giving her to try to get rid of the baby. Remember, she was sick earlier that day and on the floor. Instead of them calling the nurse, they called the counselor. The school failed her.
CJ says, did Jarvis' brother report this? I do not know. That's a really good question. I have no idea. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. I hope he does. I hope so, but I don't know. Good question.
Once Shannon beats on it, she passes out.
How do you think?
She dies right there.
How do you think they got rid of her? I think they buried her. I do. I think that they buried her. I think she's buried, and I think that she's buried in the opposite direction of where they laid her clothes. I think that and I don't think she's very, very deep. I just think that they just don't know exactly what location that she is in because Jarvis, it was the if they want to know where Naziyah's body is, ping Annette and Shannon's phone. Because the places, the locations that they have are only Jarvis's pings. They're none of Shannon's and none of Annette's. So I think that that tells the rest of the story because Shannon is involved. I don't care. I feel it in my spirit. I feel it in my bones. I feel like God telling me. I feel like Naziah whispering to me. Shannon is involved. Yes, she is. She had everything to do with that girl dying. Yes, she did. Her and Jarvis, they're both equally responsible, if you ask me. Both of them. But Shannon is involved. She acts like a guilty person. Like she only gives guilt. She does not give innocence. She doesn't. No. Roxy, the other family members, they give innocence. They ain't got nothing to do with that. They really don't. They have nothing to do with what happened to that young girl. Nothing. They want to find her. They want at least her body, if nothing else. Shannon and them don't give that. You just sitting around. They are doing nothing to find Naziah. They're doing nothing to raise awareness for her. They going up on the stand lying for this nigga. They're lying for him. They're not lying for him to protect him because they have no reason to. He behind bars. Pin him to the wall. They could pin him to the wall. That's how you know that Shannon is stupid. That's how you know she dumb. Because this is your opportunity. Even if you have something to do with it, bury him. Put it all on him. Because without him, none of this would happen no way. So, I mean, just so go ahead. Bury him. Nail him to the wall. But she's not doing that out of fear that Jarvis is going to let them know that she was involved. That is why she is protecting Jarvis. That is it. That's it. She's protecting him due to her involvement. And Jarvis was cool taking the other charges. Jarvis did not think that they were going to charge him with murder because they have not found her body. He's an idiot. He's stupid. So this is why I feel like he is going to say something when it comes to Shannon. It's only a matter of time before he says something because murder was not on the table. The SA charges was what he was facing first. The murder charge came later. That didn't come right away. No, it came later. So he felt like he was just going to face the charges of like SA and registering and stuff like that, and then one day be able to see the light of day again. But then they threw that murder charge on him. That's what changed the game. That is the problem. Because this means you will never see the light of day again. You will die in there. That was not on the table when he first got arrested or wanted to be turned himself in February 7, 2024. He did not go in there with an murder charge. No. The judge just granted it so that it could actually go to trial so that he can be charged with her murder. That just happened this month. Okay? She was missing over a year ago. So he has not had this murder charge for over a year. No, he has not. That just came recently. Not to mention she was pregnant. Because technically it's supposed to be double homicide. Double murder charges. Because the baby is still a human. So that's still a murder. So, and he ain't even being charged with that. But if they found her body and can truly be able to prove she was pregnant, they will slap that charge on him too. They're not just gonna let him get away with it. They just don't have, technically, they have no solid evidence that she was pregnant besides hearsay and text messages. That is it. That is it. People gain weight. So, like, I mean, in the eyes of the law, it's about what you can prove, not what you can show. See, she was definitely pregnant. No, that don't mean she was pregnant. It don't. Not at all. What if she had a miscarriage? What if she, like, her stomach would have still looked like that, you know, having a miscarriage. It'd take a while for it to go down, you know, and stuff like, you know. So, who knows? What if the baby passed away due to something else? What if it was a stillborn? What if, like, there's so many things that his attorney can throw at the prosecution without them having any proof, because they don't have any proof. Text messages are going to be helpful. Other people that can give witness accounts and witness statements that Naziah was pregnant, that would be helpful. But if it was enough, then he would be being charged with the baby's murder. He's not being charged with the death of an infant or a fetus. Well, not a fetus because it was a baby. It was bigger than a fetus. So yeah, like, he's not being charged with any of that stuff. That's why it'd be weird when people say, like, oh, Sean, stop saying that. No, I'm not going to stop saying that, because we're not there yet in court. If you weirdos think it's going to be just cut and dry because they're charging who are murder, it's a charge. He has not been convicted, and charges can be lessened and dropped throughout the process, and also plea deals can be made if there's not enough sufficient evidence, because the prosecution would rather him be charged with some account of murder than him not be charged at all, because his attorney is going to shoot that he did not do it to her, that she is not deceased, that is what he's going to fight. They're not going to ignore that because y'all feel like he did it. That is a feeling. You don't have any proof of it. That's what matters in court. There is no body. There isn't one. Yes, people have been convicted without a body, but that's not in every fucking case. It's not. Like, y'all weird. And then when they do convict without a body, there is a cause of death, or at least a confession, you know, or something like that to go with it. Like, yeah, we don't have her body, but we do have people confessing that she did do this, or she did confide in this person and tell this person that, or he said this, that they would have. You're good then. It's better. But when you don't have a body, a cause of death, nothing, it's harder. And then it's first degree. How you gonna charge somebody with first degree without a body or proof of death, even without finding the body? I mean, that makes sense. Hello? So the prosecution is going to have to do their damnedest to put the best case together that they can without a body and without a cause of death to pin first-degree murder charge on someone that they can't even prove is dead. So if you think it's just cut and dry, that it's like, yep, they're definitely, because he definitely did. No, he didn't. They don't have any proof to say that he definitely took her life. No, they don't have any proof of that. They don't. And honestly, I don't think Jarvis is acting like a person that did that. I don't. I think that's why he holds his head down, because there's more to this story. I feel like Jarvis knows that he's guilty about the essay and that stuff that happened to Naziah. But when it comes to Naziah passing, he's not willing to take responsibility for that. And I think the reason why is because he had help. Because you're still responsible, because you were there regardless. You were there. So whether you watched it, heard it, saw it, you were there, and you didn't report anything of the other. Y'all made it look like she was just missing. So therefore, you are just as responsible. I don't want to hear nothing. Y'all should get the same amount of time. Both of y'all should get first degree charges and all of that. You should get because you took that baby life, and she should get a first degree because she took Naziah life, if that's what happened. And again, if y'all feel like them convicting without a body so true, why is Jarvis not being charged with the infant's passing? With Naziah's baby's passing? But y'all so sure that they're going to convict him without this body, then why is he not being charged for 2 deaths and just 1? Why is he just being charged with 1 murder instead of 2? Why? That's murder. Making somebody drink something to get rid of a baby. That's murder. That is. It's against the law. Hello? But he not being charged with that. So what make y'all so sure that they're going to convict him when 2 people are missing, not 1? But y'all so smart. Y'all so smart. I'm spreading false news. No, I'm not. I'm being honest. I'm being a realist. That's what I'm doing. That's why I said from jump is so important, so crucial that her body is found so it could stick. That's all. Let's make it stick. Because then they got a cause of death with her and the baby. If she's like, they got everything they need to be like, you ain't never going nowhere. At this point in time, it's a possibility that he could get off, or third degree, fourth degree charge to where carries less of a sentence, and he'd be in jail 10, 15 years and be able to get out. Because he never counted on being charged with murder because she was missing. There was flyers saying that Naziah was missing, not dead, missing. Yeah, that's how you know he's stupid. Because he feel like in order to say that a person is deceased, you have to have the body. No, you do not. No, you don't. You can have a person declared deceased and get a death certificate for them due to the amount of time that they have been gone. But it's different state to state. But yeah, if your spouse is missing and you ain't seen him in a year or two, a year or so, you can go in and get a decree that he's gone or she's gone, that they passed away. Because when we ain't seen me and talked to them, we done been looking for years. They're gone. And they will give you that. They will. The courts will grant it. But you can't say your spouse or somebody's been missing for a month or two and you want to declare them deceased. No, that's going to cause bells and stuff to go off. Because I'm like, can you give people time? Did you even look for her? And you already up here wanting to, because then there's usually money and stuff involved, like insurance policies and stuff like that, because they can't get them unless they're declared deceased. So that's a red flag if, a spouse is calling in and the person ain't even been missing a month or two and they already trying to declare them deceased. Like, hell, why? Wait a minute. Like, you usually, again. So it's very possible that Shannon took this girl's life.
So they panic. So get her, the twin sister, help Shannon get her into the mall car and meet Jarvis. Meet Jarvis out there by where the other girlfriend lives. And Jarvis was going to all these different houses at his different girlfriend house, establishing his alibi.
So he said Jarvis was going to all of these girlfriends' houses, establishing an alibi. Again, that's plausible. Jarvis was pinged at multiple addresses that night, including the baby mother, where he got the car from, and also including the girlfriend's house that he stayed at, because he did not spend the night in the hotel. He stayed at the girlfriend's house. And then when it came to checkout, Jarvis did not check out of the hotel until checkout time. So what that tells me is that the hotel checked Jarvis out. He didn't check himself out. No, he did not. The hotel did it. Again, with most hotels, if you stay past sometimes they give you an extension, like they'll give you an extra hour or two instead of checking out at 11. Sometimes they'll check out at like 1, and whatnot, because they have to have the room ready before at least 3 or 4 before the next check-in. So they will just check you out. The hotel themselves. So now if they would have said that he checked out at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, then I would be like, okay, well maybe he checked out himself. Then maybe he was there for a significant amount of time. But I don't believe he did. I just think that he got the room, and I do think him and Naziah entered the room. I do think that they were in there for a while and not long and left. I do. So that is plausible that they were at the hotel. He got her to drink some antifreeze and whatnot, and she started feeling ill on the car ride. Get back in the car, she started feeling ill. Got there, felt worse, and then Shannon starts confronting her, and whatnot. Fights her, jumps on a girl while she's feeling ill, and hits her with a blunt object, and she just don't move after that, and everybody panics, and it's like, okay, well, let's get her out of here. And put her in them thinking they're smart. Well, let's use Annette's car. Let's use your mom's car. And then go over to the baby mama's house. Use her car to finish ridding the body. Possible, very possible.
Between her and Shannon, and he had nothing to do with it, but knew that he was also the last person seen with her, and probably would be questioned about her being unalive.
So he said that he knew that he was the last person seen with her being alive. So he knew that he would be questioned about it, which makes complete sense. Why would he have her in the public if he was planning on taking her life? Why would he take her to Yep, to that little city? Why would he take her to the body shop? Why would he take her to why would he do all that? Why would he be seen publicly with her if his intention was so that she was about to disappear? I don't think he had any intention of hurting her. I don't. I don't think he was planning on that at all because he knew it would fall back onto him. He knew people saw him together, even his own sister. You know, people saw him together with her and whatnot. No, he had no intention of harming her. This is where the issue comes there with Shannon because Shannon has held him down. So he has to return the favor. But he was returning the favor of just being charged with what he did to her, essaying her, you know, and whatnot. He was planning on being charged with that because he's been charged with it 3, 4 times already. So, but taking her life was not the plan. Him being charged with that. Him feeling like they don't find her body, they can't charge us with her passing. So he thought that they were just going to look at her as missing, and then he was going to go on trial, and she was still going to be listed as missing and whatnot. No, the Detroit said she gone, she deceased, and we're going to charge you with first-degree murder. This is he and Shannon's rift. This is the problem, but Shannon has to save face. She can't come forward and attack Jarvis or say that, yes, Jarvis did this to somebody. She still says, oh, I don't know exactly what was going on with him, if he was doing it. You know, that's him. You know, so saving face instead of being how we would, because we would be attacking him. We would be saying that Jarvis is a monster. We would be saying that I don't care whether I got kids with him or not. He'll never see my children again. He'll never speak to me again. He'll this, blah, blah, this, and blah, blah, blah. Shannon's children being taken recently by CPS. That also speaks volumes too. What new information do they have? I think prosecution and police have new information, and I think that it will come out in trial. I do think that it will. Again, this is a viral case, so a lot of information is coming out about it, and I do think that they're taking their time to make sure that they could build as strong of a case against Jarvis as possible. I do think they want Jarvis. I do think they want to keep him. I think that prosecution wants to keep him behind bars for the rest of his life. I don't think they want to let him out at all. This is why I think they charged him with the unaliving of her. The next court date for trial is March 7th, on the 7th of next month. So yeah, I do think that they want to keep him. I don't think they want to let him go. I also think that that's why they put the charge of the first-degree murder on him, so that because they know the other charges that he has, he's going to get a decent amount of time for it, but it's not going to be like we can keep him forever. He can parole out one day, all of that with the other charges. But with that murder charge, that's permanent. That's sticking. That's up and stuck type of situation. So I feel like it was very dire for them to charge him with murder, 100%.
Shannon and the sister go out there to meet them out there. They get rid of the body, right? So once they get rid of the body, you tell them, you know, bring some extra clothes or whatever. So you get rid
So
of
he
the body,
says
and they throw those extra
once
clothes.
once they told him, well, them, because to get rid of the body, he said that that's allegedly when they decided to bring extra clothes instead of the clothes that she was wearing. Um, Another thing, the sweatshirts and stuff that they did find, they did say that there was, the forensic analyst said that there was blood splatter on that jacket that did not only belong to Naziah, it also belonged to Jarvis. I wonder if they tested Shannon, if her DNA would be on it too. Because I think Shannon's DNA is on there as well. Because if she did hit her with a blunt object and whatnot, and they were, you know, fighting it into an altercation, I'm sure that her DNA got on Naziah in some way, shape, or form. Because I don't believe Shannon and Jarvis are smart enough to take a little bit of blood splatter and splatter it on different clothes that belong to her and place those outside. So I do think that that black jacket that they found, she did actually have on her body. I don't believe she had on the jumpsuit, and I don't believe that she had on that other shoe. Maybe the shoes are different because they only found one shoe. So I doubt that because if you take off one shoe, why not take off the other? If you're going to be removing the clothes from her body. I don't think they removed everything from her. I think that they just took the black sweatshirt off of her and buried that colorful jacket with her. Either put it back on her and buried her, or removed both and buried the jacket because maybe the jacket was like drenched in blood. So they just buried it with her instead. But because if they find Naziah's body, I do think that there will be like DNA underneath her nails and other places that will determine other parties being involved that day, not just Jarvis. I just don't feel like Jarvis did it by himself. He had help. And the reason why, hold on, because I have to exclude King, because I know people were saying, oh, King, 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 King. King has on an ankle monitor. He had on an ankle monitor. So they know the majority of his whereabouts that day based off of his monitor. So when he parted ways with Jarvis that night, that is true. They really did part. They were no longer together. They weren't. They parted. He had on an ankle monitor. So King is excluded. But now, I don't know what he knows. Now, he could definitely know more information than what's being let on. But as being involved, I don't think he was involved with what happened to Naziah. It was Shannon. I feel it was her. Yeah.
It's working, and I don't understand how it's working, because we know what she had on the day of school. We know what she left, got off the bus with, the clothes she had on. But they threw out some different clothes with limited amount of blood and stuff on it. Why? Because they only took the jacket off of her, and probably some other shoes and stuff that was already in the house. But she
I agree.
we saw her in.
Why does it take so long to pause? I agree. I do think that they took clothes from home and placed them there. And that's another thing. This is how you know that Shannon was involved. Because how did Jarvis get her clothes when Annette said out of her own mouth in the testimony of hers that we were listening to that Jarvis didn't come to her house, that he'd just pull up in the front and Shannon would go outside and talk to him. Although we know that's not true. Why are they doing all this lying for Jarvis? Naziah is gone. So it's not like they're going to take Naziah from Annette. They're not going to do that. That's over with. She's gone. So what is the need of not telling the truth? Why not say, yes, he was in my home and all, because it lines up with the facts that they have of the text messages and whatnot that were exchanged between the two, Jarvis and Naziah. So why are you protecting him? See, Shannon is getting the protection, not Jarvis. She's not protecting Jarvis. She's protecting Shannon because Annette knows too. Annette knows what happened to Naziah. And Annette knows that Shannon is responsible. That would make sense into why Shannon is being protected and why Shannon and Annette are protecting Jarvis so that Jarvis protects them. That makes sense. Because them protecting him doesn't make sense if they don't have any involvement. So if you don't have any involvement in what happened to Naziah, then why are you not screaming from the mountaintops that I trusted this man in my home with with my grandchildren, with his own children, and he was taking advantage of my granddaughter that was 13 years old. And I'm mortified because I don't even know exactly when this started, when he's been around her since a young age. So, hello? Now that makes sense. That Annette is protecting Shannon by protecting Jarvis. Because if they go at Jarvis, then Jarvis gonna pop them. Jarvis gonna say what they did and they part in it and what they have to do with it. So why even make it void saying anything about Jarvis doing anything or having anything to do with Naziah so that this can seem as if there may be other suspects or she just disappeared or she was affixed, or something like that, not gone, due to her being pregnant by Jarvis,
That colorful jacket, them jeans, and some other shoes, and I don't think she buried nowhere.
880 likes. Thank y'all so much. Please keep double tapping that screen. Over 1,800 people in the building. Please keep double tapping that screen. And thank you to everyone who already has. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I wish she can't be found because they somewhere else and make people go search in the opposite direction. So she is deceased, but she was killed.
So he says that they placed the clothes area that they placed them in so that people could go and look in the opposite direction. And that's us. I feel like over 2,000 people in the building. Please hit the like, 918 likes. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate y'all being here. Justice for Naziah Harris. So I do believe that they did place the clothes there deliberately to try to throw people off their track, throw them off their scent, and where Naziah may be resting. And I think that I really feel like Naziah isn't far from the Balfour address. I think that she's somewhere over there. I don't know why my mind keeps going back over there because that address keeps coming up. And Shannon made it seem as if she had no idea who lived there. It's another reason I feel that it's very plausible that she was with him, that she was with Jarvis when all of this stuff was going down. Because how are you so dumbfounded? How do you just like know nothing now? But it just don't even make any sense. And you were honestly one of the last people in that home to have seen her. She said she saw Naziah before she went to school. Um, I believe she saw her when she got home, but not but very plausible. That they did that to throw people off their scent. So that just means go the opposite, So if they're putting her over here, she's nowhere here. Let's look and see if we can find anything else of her belongings. But if not, let's just wrap this up and move in, to the other side of town because it's not over here. Those were too big of breadcrumbs to leave behind. Too big, too obvious.
Because of policy or whatever she had going on with Jarvis. And at the end of the day, the mom and the sister knows what Shannon did, and they're not protecting Jarvis, they're protecting Shannon. And Shannon hoping that
with bodies, hold on. With bodies, when someone's life is taken abruptly, you usually don't take the clothes off of them. It's instinct to just bury them. Most people aren't removing articles of clothing and they just bury them. Because why does it matter if the clothing is, shout out to 784, thank you so much for the super sticker, I really appreciate it. If the clothes are over there, then the body should be there too. So there would be no reason to her clothes to just be outside on the ground, because why wouldn't no one reported seeing a naked teen or a naked girl running around or anything like that? Somebody would have called the police and somebody a naked girl. That would have definitely happened. Shout out to Bell Nix. Thank you for being a member, sweetheart. Yeah, somebody would have seen, because where is she? Like, so she just, all her clothes just here. Like, no panties, no none of that stuff. Just a body, like wet, and a hoodie and one shoe. These are plants, and it's easy to see right away that is a plant, because there would have been more to the scene, way more to the scene. There would have been some just shuffling around. Her DNA would have been on parts of things outside there, because there were many things around there, like it was junk around too. So her DNA, fingerprints, something would be on these things. They're not. The only DNA of hers is just on these clothes. It's nowhere else. And then also footprints. There was no footprints in that area with that shoe, that size. That's another thing police discovered at the site of where they found. There were no, because how did she get here? How did she get here? Say she was here. Say there was a struggle. Something happened to her. Somebody, was ripping her clothes off and stuff like that. And whatnot. Why is there no? And then where's the other shoe prints? Because there should be two shoe prints. Even if one shoe came off, she would still would have had the other one on. So where are the prints that show foot, like toe print and shoe? Because that's how she would have been if she only had one shoe on. None of that was there. So it's like she dropped from the sky. Her clothes and stuff came off, and then she back up. Because There's nothing to determine where she came from, whether she came from this side, where she came from this, because they're going to look for all of that. Feet print, all that. Correct. So they knew that all of that is false. None of that is real. None of that is real. None of it, buddy. Nobody, buddy.
He's not going to tell until after they try and convict him of the murder, and he see the difference between the time. Remember, his lawyer said they're not going to contest the fact that he had inappropriate relations with her. Okay, go ahead.
So he said that he's not going to say, Jarvis is not going to tell on Shannon and tell on Annette until closer to him being charged. I would have to disagree with that too, because I'm gonna tell you why.
It over. But what we are fighting is the murder. Why? Because there's no body. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Now, you do know that Shannon and all of them have already made deals with the DA. Why?
So he says that Shannon and him has already made deals with the DA. This is why I don't feel like Jarvis is truly going to wait until the end of the trial. That would be stupid. It would be more important to something prior. I think that he is waiting to see if it gets dropped or he gets offered a deal, is what I think. And if those things don't happen, then I feel like we'll say something. I do not believe that Shannon and Annette have deal with prosecution and whatnot already. It is very obvious why. You want to know why I don't think that they have any deals? The reason I do not believe that Shannon or Annette has a deal with prosecution or the court is because we still don't have Naziah's body. We still do not have it. There is no way in the world prosecution is going to make a deal without finding Naziah's body. They want her body. Okay? If Shannon and them would have, if that was part of the deal and they found Naziah's body, then I'd be like, oh yeah, that's possible. They definitely could have a deal with them, but they don't have a body. So why would they give them a deal? What is the incentive of prosecution giving Annette and Shannon deals when they have been nothing but supportive of Jarvis? Their testimonies help Jarvis. No, they would be helping prosecution lock him up. They would be up on that stand talking about some. He is the scum of the earth. He is a devil. He need to stay in jail. He don't ever need to get out. I may not have saw him doing nothing to her, but I know he was doing it. He was this and that. Blah blah blah. My kids ain't lying. This person ain't lying. Da da da. They're not doing that. They up there, oh no, he only came, pulled up to the house, and Shannon would go outside and talk to him. He only came in to use the bathroom. And you got Shannon, oh no, I don't know anything. It was disrespectful and inappropriate going on. All I saw was an uncle-niece relationship. No, prosecution would be pissed. Prosecution would be very angry if they gave them a deal and they up there defending him, basically making it easier for his attorneys and whatnot to come forward and state that, yes, there was an inappropriate relationship going on, but that is where it ended. That is it. Jarvis had no motive or any reason to do any of these things to Naziah or to end her. Like, y'all helping. Like, he was barely there. It only happened a few times, according to the family, even. He was only in the house 2-3 times, and whatnot. Everything else is an exaggeration. You're helping him get off, but they want to help him get off without looking guilty. Without looking guilty, though. So they want to try to make it look like, they're backing Naziah, but at the same time, Jarvis is whose team they're on at the end of the day. So yes, no, I do not believe that they have a deal. Naziah's body has not been recovered, and they're not even doing a deal with Jarvis, I feel, without Naziah's body. If Jarvis gets a deal, it's going to be because Naziah's body is a part of that deal. It has to, because it gives them everything that they need. Then they get to, again, cause of death, to know if there was a baby. They get to know all of that stuff. So, and then it's concrete, so there's no going against it. So then they could give him a lesser sentence while charging Annette and Shannon as well with first degree, second degree, whatever they want to charge them with. So, and why his deal gets lessened, why he gets a lesser sentence due to his cooperation and helping them find her body. Her body has to be a part of the deal. I believe that that's why no deal has been made yet. I do believe that prosecution has offered him a plea deal, and I do believe that he's talked to prosecution about a deal, but they want her body. They need to know where she at. And Jarvis is petrified of them finding that body because I think that he don't trust the deal. I think that he trusts that if he tell them that he's still gonna be stuck with the same charges and whatnot. And now he done pulled Annette in a minute, you know. And who knows what they gonna say. So then they can make him have more charges too, if they're gonna involve the baby, because it will be his story against Annette's Shannon. And Shannon has more witnesses than he do, like Annette and the children in the home. I also wonder if the children have said something to CPS about something happening to Naziah, because if that happened in the household, I'm sure the children probably heard it, heard the argument, heard the screaming and stuff after Naziah didn't get up. And then when you hear like somebody yelping, or your reaction is to go to where it is. So if a kid hears somebody yelling or screaming really loud, like oh, they're gonna go see what is going on. So I would hate to think that maybe those children ran out in that kitchen or something and saw Naziah on that ground like that. Yeah, I wonder if they've said something because they could have, now that the children are removed from them, because they're not going to get any information from the children while they're in Shannon's custody. But now that they've been removed, as a mandated reporters, they got to report what they hear, and those kids are going to talk because they're going to want to know about their upbringing, how they were living, if anything was happening to them. With Jarvis being a four-time offender, they're going to have those type of questions, and they're going to also have questions about Naziah. And with those children not being around their mother, someone that they probably fear, with them feeling safe, they just may say, like, yeah, I did see Naziah, she was on the ground and she was hurt. There was blood, and I didn't see her after that. They may, you never know. So I do feel like those, and they have had multiple children testify in this case thus far. They have. So multiple minors have came forward and told their stories. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
Without Shannon, the mom, King, the fiance, without all those people, they would not have a case against this young lady. So they pieced up parts of their statements and testimonies to present what it was they wanted to present to the court. That he was last seen with it, and he's the one that killed him. But believe me, there's other text messages, all kind of messages in their phones.
I agree.
That they took, but if they
I agree. There's plenty, especially Shannon and Jarvis. And notice how we haven't really heard any messages from those two. Any messages exchanges between Jarvis and Shannon, when we know there is information there, a lot of information. We know there's information. So yes, please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like, over 1,000 likes. Thank y'all so much. 1,900 people in the building. Thank y'all so much for being here. Subscribe if you haven't already, and please hit that like button if you haven't. I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Convict them and show that they are also guilty, then who would be on the stand and testify or could testify against Jarvis? Because they all could get up there and just plead the fifth because they all are being charged. So therefore, they're letting them off and letting them go. They made a deal.
I just don't believe that. I do not believe that they will let her off. I do not believe that at all. I don't, because that will get them closer to Naziah's body. Because then police do it all the time, using them against each other. So they will use Jarvis and they will use Shannon against each other, and basically go with who has the more factual story. So if she is saying this and this and this and then this happened and then happened and then it was this and then it was this, when they go fact check and look at the things that she said, if everything she's saying pans out and is true, then they're going to stick with her. And then if Jarvis sits down and he said, well, this happened to this and this and this, then they go fact check and come find out, yeah, ain't none of that true. Like they said that they didn't see this and they didn't have that, blah, blah, blah. They're going to go with Shannon. So Shannon will get the deal over Jarvis. Like, they're not going to give both of them a deal. Like, they're not, unless it's about different things. But they're not going to give them the same deal about the same information. They're not going to do that. No, not at all. They're going to charge them both and give the person that has the better testimony to convict the other person the deal. So that is when I would believe that they would give Shannon a deal. If Shannon can convince them that Jarvis is the actual one that took her life and can prove that she took or that he took her life and like rather saying the weapon or where the weapon was placed or where she was buried, how she was buried, she can prove that, then that's what they're going to go with. It's that simple. But if she don't have any evidence to prove, or her story is not strong enough to prove that she had nothing to do with passing, and Jarvis's story aligns with her taking her life, and he can prove parts and reasons why, rather it's old messages or something that they could pull up of a conversation that they had, or the location, a witness to state the location. Rather, he got the baby mama to come forward and be like, yes, she was parked behind him. There was a van parked behind, whatever. That's what they're going to go with. So they're the prosecutors are going to give the person the better deal that they can convict. So we're giving you this deal because you're going to help us convict this person. That's who's going to get the deal. So if Shannon can do that, they will give her a deal. And if Jarvis can do that, they'll give him a deal. But they're not going to give both of them one. That's what they're not going to do. If anything, they'll just use them against each other. They'll let them battle it out on the stand, and just kind of just let it go from there. So, yeah. And I don't believe that they wouldn't that they would literally give Shannon a slap on the wrist for being this closely involved with the passing of a 13-year-old pregnant girl. No, I don't see them just be like, oh, okay, well, you're going to, because we've seen them on the stand. Shannon has been the most horrible witness ever. Annette has been the most horrible witness ever. There's no sympathy. There's no empathy. They are not putting themselves in the shoes of this young lady. They are not saying how they're losing sleep and how they can't eat and they this and that because they can't find her. They gotta know where she is. None of that's happened. None of that. They are up there defensive and protective of their own goddamn selves. That is what they've been on that stand and did. They have not helped prosecution at all. They have not assisted prosecution at all. Jarvis's sister has helped prosecution more than Shannon and Annette. Jarvis's sister had more sympathy and empathy for that girl than her own family. Her own family. She up there choked up, crying, can barely speak about certain things, is devastated by what happened to that young lady. But you got Shannon on the stand, not one tear, not choked up, nothing. Because that is the human experience. It's not everybody cries. In that retrospect, yeah, a person would be saddened, crying, upset. There would be all of those things. But how they sat up on their stand, they sit on that stand complicit. They sit on that stand careful. They sit on that stand to make sure that they are able to walk off that damn stand when they get done, instead of them getting locked up because of the information that they're given, although their stories have changed umpteen times. Locations have changed umpteen times. Who saw her last done changed. What she had on done changed. All of that. The tablet was with her, then it wasn't. She had a cell phone, then she didn't. Then the grandma would take it away. Girl! That's what liars do. Girl, this is crazy.
They want them to say, in turn, keeps them from being prosecuted and charged with anything. But trust me, they know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened to her. But they want.
Not my son. Thank you, Isaiah, for the super sticker. Shout out to Isaiah. Thank you so much, Isaiah, for the super sticker.
Because they feel like he's the problem. He's the ringleader. But they.
So he says that they want to arrest Jarvis because they feel like Jarvis is the ringleader of what's going on. I believe it's Shannon. How he's speaking, it's Shannon. Jarvis was the ringleader of wanting to get rid of Naziah's baby, not the ringleader wanting to get rid of Naziah. I do believe that Shannon, it could have easily went into a jealous rage about something like that, being extremely upset because she's ignorant, she's stupid, she has no self-esteem. Why would you attack your niece because of what your dude is doing? And he ain't even your dude. He with like 9 other females with STDs, bringing them back and loading them up in you. So it's just like, I could definitely see her being as unintelligent as she is, attacking Naziah before attacking, and she's a kid, attacking a child before she attacks an adult. Like, she definitely gives that. Because if you was going to run up on anybody, you should have run up on Jarvis. If you was going to hit anybody with a blunt object, it should have been Jarvis. who you hit with a blunt object and protected your niece. But why would you do that when you don't like her? I believe Annette did not like Naziah either, and I believe that she didn't like her because of the loyalty that she had towards Shannon. I believe that Annette was so loyal to Shannon, with them going through so much together, Shannon being her rock, and whatnot, to when Shannon is bringing her mother this information about Naziah. I think that the mother started to ostracize, the grandmother started to ostracize Naziah. I do. And I think that she only did the things that she did for Naziah because she's being paid to, getting a check to. So making sure she had all, because she had all her immunizations and whatnot, all her doctor's appointments were current, and whatnot. She would drive her back and forth to school at times, usually in the morning. So again, it does give that she was just doing that because she was getting paid, because Naziah should have had way more. How is Annette getting a check for Naziah, but she don't really have anything to show for anything? You got 9, 10 kids, no exaggeration, because Shannon has 5 herself, staying inside of the house. And remember, Naziah and her brother Navir used to live with Annette. So that's 7 kids right there, not counting the other grandchildren that come and spend the nights there and stay there as well, like Marquetta's daughter, to the twin sister, her kids, come in there and staying too. And so that house is be filled with children, and it's not enough rooms, clearly. I think it's like, what, a 3.5, like almost 4, something like that, 3, 4 bedroom, something like that. So it's not enough room, because you got Annette, she has her own room, and then you got Shannon, who has her own room, and then pretty much the rest of the rooms the children are divvying up between each other. Naziah should have had her own room. There's no reason that she shouldn't have had a room, because Shannon, a big backeted nasty ass, want to keep letting a pedo drop children off in her. She competing with all the other women he having kids by. She shouldn't have had the Naziah shouldn't have had to deal with all of that. She shouldn't. She should have been able to have her own room, and it should have been her grandmama. End of story. I That's just what that were. But instead, Shannon, with this takeover spirit, made Naziah's life hard. She made her life difficult. I don't think she necessarily cared too much about her. And the whole Jarvis thing was the icing on the cake, which what really took it to another level. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, how do you have animosity with an 11-year-old? With an 11-year-old? Because messages stem back to Naziah being 11 to where this started to happen. And I don't think that is what was happening. I think it was the pregnancies. I don't think Naziah was pregnant one time. I think Naziah was pregnant multiple times. I do. And I think the first time she got pregnant was probably like around 10 or 11 years old, when she had got pregnant the first time. And I believe that he had her take Plan Bs and all of that. I mean, this is a 10, 11-year-old in the bathroom swallowing Plan B pills. So I do believe that she was pregnant more than one time. And I do believe that when Shannon is talking about pregnancies with Naziah, it's more than one that she is alluding to. So, yeah, but it's like, how do you have animosity towards an 11-year-old? How do you want to basically fight an 11-year-old? How do you take your hands and pummel on a 13-year-old that's pregnant? So that says a lot about the psyche and how Annette felt about, because Shannon runs Annette. Shannon and Annette have the same phone number. I bullshit you not. They have the same phone number. If you want to contact Annette, you call the same number to contact Shannon. It's the same one, the same exact phone number. Okay? That's how you contact them. When you look up the house that they all stay in, Shannon is one of the first names that pop up. I mean, Annette's is first, but Shannon pop up right underneath her. But Shannon swears that she has her own place, and Annette swears that Shannon has her own place too. How if she's listed living with you? Yes, Shannon is listed as an occupant in your home. If she's an adult with 5 children and has her own place, why is she listed as an occupant in your home? Why does she live there? Why did every time Jarvis came over there to see the children, and whatnot, that Shannon would go outside? Why didn't Jarvis meet Shannon at her own house? Annette, you stupid bitch. Why didn't Jarvis meet her over there? Why was he always at your house? Why? Why? it gives Shannon was staying at your house if she had her own, that she was staying over there so that she could get some from Jarvis too. Because Shannon knew that Jarvis was coming over to your house not for the kids, for Naziah. So I feel like she was staying over there. Shannon was staying over there so that she could see Jarvis too. Because they don't give Jarvis was giving her much play. That's what it gives. It gives like she was staying over there because she knew that you were coming over there, that Jarvis was coming over there doing things with, and not just Naziah, other kids too. It wasn't just her. Again, her niece, her other niece, Shannon's other niece, testified that Jarvis tried to sleep with her too, and she told him no. And after that, he got on top of Naziah and did what he did to Naziah, like in front of her, grooming her. Like, look, this is how it's done. I'm gonna do it to Naziah, and then once you see that it ain't nothing to fear, then I'm gonna do it to you. That's grooming, is what that is. Because why would he do that? Why would he not leave the room with Naziah? He did that deliberately. He wanted your other niece to see him sleeping with Naziah. He wanted that. Yeah. To make her feel like, look, she's doing it. You could do it too. You know, that's what that were. And he was literally having his way. Going through the house, having his way. And the grooming process is better to get them to have them willing to do it versus to taking it from them. Because then he gets to control it afterwards. If you take it away, that's terrifying. That's scary. That makes you want to go tell somebody. That makes you want to go say something so that it never happens again. But when you can get somebody to willingly do it on their own, gaslight and manipulate them into doing it on their own, then it's something that you can control at that point. Control when it happens, how it happens, where it happens. You get to do that. But if the person is completely not down with it, then they'll usually back off. And that is what Jarvis did. He did not approach that young lady after that, after she told him no, because he knew that it's a higher probability that she's going to say something. So I got to stay away from you. I gotta stay away from you. So I feel like Shannon was staying over there at her mother's house because of what was going on between Jarvis and Naziah. Jarvis would pick up Naziah and take Naziah to that shop without Shannon even being there or without Shannon's children being there either. So it's not like every time Naziah went to that damn shop that she was with Jarvis's daughter too. No. No. So that means, Shannon, that you was over there at your mom's house dick watching, waiting until he came in so that you can intervene and take the time away from Naziah. That is why they was creeping around, why they felt, the walk, the tiptoeing, around and whatnot, because you knew everything. Not tiptoeing around because they didn't want to get caught. They already were. They already were. You knew what was up. You knew what was going on between them. But instead of doing something about it, you wanted to compete. You wanted to make Naziah feel like she wasn't. So then you even convinced your mother to treat her the same way. You sure did. And it shows that y'all did that to Naziah because why didn't she confide in y'all about anything that was going on with her? Not even her own grandmother. She never confided in y'all. Not once. She couldn't trust you. Why would she confide in people that hate her? Why would she do that? Doesn't even make sense. You would confide in somebody that loves you. Why would she go to school and want to talk to a counselor before talking to you bitches? Why would she want to talk to a nurse or a counselor before y'all? Hello? It speaks. That girl was on her own. She just stayed there. She was a check. She was. I feel like Annette treated Naziah better when Shannon wasn't around. But when Shannon would come around, Annette would be Team Shannon. She would. And Shannon would isolate that young lady and make her feel less than. That's why it was locks and on the refrigerators and stuff over there so that they can make Naziah feel less than. Naziah was the only person in that house, the only child in that house that wasn't fucking related to Shannon. So if those doors and stuff was being locked, who you think they was locking them refrigerators against? Who you think that they ain't won't eating the food? Who? Who? Shannon gotta feed her kids. So she ain't locking the door so that they won't eat. She locking the door so that Naziah won't. That's what that were. Nobody stupid. Nobody dumb. Y'all should be ashamed of how y'all treated that girl. A child called It is basically how they treated her, just a female version. Y'all used her. Yes, and I believe that's how I believe with Shannon. I do. I think that Shannon convinced her mom because her loyalty, y'all can see how loyal Annette is to Shannon. So if Annette was not feeling Naziah, If she had an issue with Naziah, which she clearly did, y'all seen in the text messages, her saying, "Oh, her friend said she went over there to get some, Tuda, her sneaky, you sneaky, sneaky doing what? Because she didn't have a criminal record or anything like that. The girl came home every night. The girl went to school every day to get the fuck away from y'all, to get the fuck away from you. Hello? What do you mean sneaky? Sneaky how? Sneaky because she with your nigga? Sneaky because your nigga is assaulting her? Because he's traumatizing her? That's sneaky to you? What? If anybody being sneaky, it's Jarvis. This is a little girl. What is she being sneaky about? She listed Naziah as a hoe. She the only one that was going around saying that Naziah was promiscuous and all of this. She made that up about Naziah. Didn't nobody else go around saying nothing like that about that young lady? As far as the rest of the world knew, Naziah was a virgin. Honestly. She didn't get down like that. She didn't. Because then she would have been more prone to running away or not coming home when she's supposed to. No, she was always there. She would always show up. So where's all this coming from? She's sneaky? How? Like she a kid. What are you talking about? But we're not supposed to look at none of that. They treated that. I feel like God took Naziah because the girl couldn't go through no more. The girl couldn't go through no more. She just, in her short years, her short life, he said, this is it. This is it. It's time for you to come home. You come on with me. Come on. Your daddy up here waiting for you. Come on, girl. Your daddy coming too. Get y'all real shot together. Because I do. Because this happened, everything happens for a reason. It does. It don't matter how sad it is, how young they are, how old they are. There is a reason behind it. Naziah's purpose was to break that family's curse. Naziah's purpose was to save her cousins and her younger family. And she's done just that. She does. So this is not in vain. I believe that Naziah is the carrier of the new normal when it comes to their family, which is not being SA'd by every goddamn body that's in it. Okay? She had a purpose and she served it. Now we just have to help her continue that because it's not over. Okay? This happened for a reason. And look at all of the information that has came out since this girl had came up missing or passed. So this was supposed to happen. And I'm not talking about her passing, no. I'm talking about what came after, the after effect. So where now people can no longer ignore it. They have to deal with it. It's all up in their face now. It's not an elephant in the room and everybody walking past it. Yeah. Everybody's addressing it now. Those children were taken by CPS. Hopefully they never go back. All of the incidents that weren't looked into are now, they got a magnifying glass over them now. That family's being watched like a hawk. This needed to happen. So she served a purpose, a beautiful purpose, and that is to save the ones after her. Absolutely. Okay? So yeah, literally, that's just how I feel. Shout out to the Rampart. She said, let's also keep Naziah's mother lifted up to give her daughter a final resting place. Naziah does not have a mother as far as I'm concerned. Naziah is a motherless child as far as I'm concerned. I have no respect for Naziah's mother at all whatsoever. I hate her. I hope all of the karma that is coming her way comes immediately. I have no respect for her at all. I do not feel sorry for her at all. I have no sympathy. I have no empathy. This is the point of being a parent. Being a parent is a hard job and it's never over. It never ends. That's why the parent usually goes before the child. Okay? Never ends. It is hard. It's one of the most difficult jobs on earth. So for all of us real parents out here that's taking care of our kids and doing what we need to do with our kids, life gets hard for everyone. We all go through things. I am a victim myself of SA as a child. And I have 4 kids and adopted one and raised them successfully. What the fuck is her problem? What's her issue? I don't have any respect for her. None. God rest Naziah's father's soul, but I don't have none for him either, or his wife that he left behind, his widow. Fuck her too, as far as I'm concerned. This is why it is important to be in your kid's life. You do not get an exception. You are not exempt, and I don't give a damn what happened to you as you were coming up. Because those are reasons to not have children. Not to have them, realizing you have these issues while having them, just to abandon them. So that and then abandon them with the same people that did it to you. When you know ain't nothing gonna be different. This bitch gave her mom her daughter when her father is her uncle. Why would Lady give Annette her baby when Lady herself, her mother, Naziah's mother, had been essayed herself in this family? Annette, her mother, was essayed by her own brother to have Lady. And then Lady has and hands them to the same people. It's nothing about that I respect. Nothing about it I respect. Nothing. The father never fought for Naziah. He gave up his rights to her to the same monster, Annette, that allowed her own children to be essayed. No respect. None. The people that did what they did to me, I would never hand them my children. I don't give a fuck what I'm going through. I don't care. Because I could have been through it all. I could have been alcoholic. I could have been on drugs. I could have did all that stuff. I chose not to. I have a choice as a victim if I'm going to go that way or that way. It is a choice. It does not mean because you are a victim that you are excused if you have children and you don't abide and do the right thing by them. You're excused because you're an SA. No. If I was not there for my children, I should not have had them. What am I having kids for with all these issues? Because now they're going to have to go through them. They're innocents. And I'm putting innocent people in these situations that I could have avoided. She could have at least gave Naziah to a good family. Naziah was a baby. She was 2. There were so many people that would take a 2-year-old. It's harder to get the older kids adopted. Someone that age, she could have eaten a distant family. She could have sat down and had a conversation with her Aunt Jernelle or someone like that. No. No. Let me give her to the same person that allowed all of this stuff to happen to me. No respect. None. None. I don't have any respect for her family, her parents. None. 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 God rest her father's soul, but I don't respect him. I don't at all. I don't have any sympathy, any empathy for him. None at all. Naziah's mother has been the least vocal since this has happened. How is Roxy standing at the forefront for your kid before you, but you swear you're looking for her? You swear you want justice for her. What? I don't respect her at all. At all. This is your fault, lady. Yeah. It's your Naziah's father, but he's deceased. This is your fault. Whenever you get through. And you should feel it. You should feel responsible because you are. I don't have any respect for them. So yeah, I would never pray for Naziah's mother Never. Now I will pray for Roxy and the other distant family members. I will definitely send a prayer into heavens for them. But I will never pray for Lady. Ever. I don't give a what happens to her because she deserves it. You deserve it. And she ain't just abandoned Naziah, she abandoned her son too. Now he out here don't know how to work, don't know how to get a job, all this. He big and asking for the GoFundMe, all of this stuff. But he's just a product of his environment. It's hard for me to be hard on him. He don't know no better. Look who raised him. Look at where he came from. Look at where he came from. Yeah, I don't expect him to be, stand up and, Roxy has a different level of education and stuff from him. She has a different upbringing, all of that. So of course she's different. She's not built like them. She's not. She's from a different breed. Okay? The people Roxy cared about her. Look how knowledgeable she is about everything that's going on. And essay and victims and survivors. She's very knowledgeable when it comes to these things. But then when it comes to the other side, when it comes to the Marquettas and the Shannons and the Annettes and all of them, fucking idiots. Idiots. Remedial idiots. Literally. Traumatized smuts are what they are. So, yeah. Very so much over it. But I'm going to play this one more time in its entirety. Then I'm going to give my closing commentary on it. Okay, so I'm going to try here one more time again. This is Jarvis's alleged brother coming forward and speaking on what happened to Naziah.
Hotel to try some antifreeze or whatever he's going to try to get rid of the baby. He gave that to her, you know what I'm saying, and trying to do whatever he could do. She was feeling sick or whatever. All right, so he gets in the car, drops her off to go back home. All right, when she gets out to go home, she go in the house. Shannon didn't get into it with her. They didn't call and see if she was at Jarvis' house because Shannon already knew she was at Jarvis' house because she called to get directions earlier that day while she's at school. So once she get back, they get to fussing at her for going up to Jarvis' shop and calling fast and this and that. Then it all came out, confirming that she was pregnant, was Jarvis' baby. Shannon lost it. Shannon lost it real bad and jumped on Naziah, beating her, hitting her in the head with some object right there in the house that they overlooking. And killed Naziah because she was already probably having complications. Remember, from whatever they've been giving her to try to get rid of the baby. Remember, she was sick earlier that day and on the floor. Instead of them calling the nurse, they called the counselor. The school failed her. So once Shannon beats on it, she passes out, she dies right there. So they panic. So they get her. Twin sister help Shannon get her into the mama car, and they go meet Jarvis out there by where the other girlfriend lives. And Jarvis was going to all these different houses at his different girlfriend house, establishing his alibi. Because he knew what had happened between her and Shannon. They had nothing to do with it, but knew that he was also the last person seen with her and probably would be questioned about her being alive. So once Shannon and his sister go out there to meet them out there, they get rid of the body, right? So once they get rid of the body, he tells them, bring some extra clothes or whatever. So they get rid of the body and they throw those extra clothes out, which is working. And I don't understand how it's working, because we know what she had on the day at school. We know what she left, got off the bus with, clothes she had on. But they threw out some different clothes with limited amount of blood and stuff on it. Why? Because they only took the jacket off of her. And probably some other shoes and stuff that was already in the house. But she's still buried in what we saw her in, which is that colorful jacket, them jeans, and some other shoes. And I don't think she buried nowhere where she can't be found because they somewhere else and made people go search in the opposite direction. So she is deceased, but she was killed by Shannon in a rage because of her jealousy or whatever she had going on with Jarvis. And at the end of the day, the mom and the sister knows what Shannon did, and they're not protecting Jarvis. relations with her. Okay, go ahead and bound it over. But what we are fighting is murder. Why? Because there's no body. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Now, you do know that Shannon and all of them have already made deals with the DA. Why? Because without Shannon, the mom, King, the fiance, without all those people, they would not have a case for murder against this young lady. So they pieced up parts of their statements and testimonies to present what it was they wanted to present to the court. And he was last seen with it, and he's the one that killed him. But believe me, there's other text messages, all kind of messages in their phones that they took. But if they convict them and show that they are also guilty, then who would be on the stand and testify or could testify against Jarvis? Because they all could get up there and just plead the fifth because they all would be charged. So therefore, they're letting them off and letting them go. They made a deal. They agreed to testify against Jarvis and say what it is that they want them to say. With in turn keeps them from being prosecuted and charged with it. But trust me, they know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened to her. But they want to get Jarvis and get Jarvis off the street because they feel like he's the problem. He's the ringleader. But they
Yes. So my main thing is I feel like we need him to go to the police about this information. The police need to know this, and I'm definitely, as soon as I get off this live, I am sending it over to the email that I was told to send information to, or if we hear anything that can be helpful or help the police with their investigation. So I will be sending that right over. I really hope this individual, whether this is Jarvis's brother or just a family member of Jarvis's, that you speak to the authorities about this. It's very important. Because if you can say this to where it gets out on social media, you shouldn't have a problem saying it to the police. You can't be half concerned. You can't be concerned about this and want this girl to have justice, yet you're doing nothing to make sure that that happens when you do have information that can be helpful. Now, the information may not convict or anything, but if the information can help them convict or give them a starting point to go down a deep rabbit hole of getting information that could be conclusive enough to bring charges up upon Shannon and other parties that may have been involved, like Annette, then I think you should do that. I think the best way of making sure that your conscience is clear and that you did your part is making sure that that information gets to the correct people, which would be the authorities and her family, and also to the press, like the real press, like the Detroit News, people like that. Get it out there like that, so that people can get involved. The ones that may have given up or just felt like this case is going to go nowhere, or it's a cold case, or it's at a standstill. You can definitely help that. Hold on. Do you think he's covering for Jarvis? No. The reason I don't think that he's covering for Jarvis is because he implicated Jarvis throughout the entire crime. He said that Jarvis was there when Naziah's life was taken. He said that Jarvis helped move the body. He said that Jarvis took the body to another home, another address, to switch the body into another car. So he's too involved. So I would say no. I don't think that doesn't help Jarvis. It doesn't. All that does is help bring charges against Shannon. It does not Jarvis's charges. It doesn't say like, oh, well, he's innocent because he didn't take her life. You are just as guilty. That's why they call it an accessory. If you were there, you watched, if you did nothing, just knowing what happened in that crime and you not reporting it is against the law. You can be brought up on the equal charges of that person. Now, first degree is premeditated, so you probably wouldn't get that. But second degree, third degree, yeah, you're because you were just as responsible, and you did nothing to make sure that this information got to the police, that it was reported. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much. Over 1,200 likes, over 1,600 people in the building still. Y'all been here solid with me over 2 hours. Thank y'all so much. I really, 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 really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, ladies and gents. He said he took part in it too. He's just as guilty. Correct. So yeah, I don't think that what he's saying helps Jarvis. I think that what he is saying is letting us know that, yeah, Jarvis was just as involved in this, but he's not the only one. That's what I get from what he's saying about this. Not Jarvis is innocent. I don't get that. I don't get that at all from it. I don't. I think that even with him saying about the antifreeze and stuff like that, he said at the beginning of the clip that Jarvis took her to the hotel and gave her the antifreeze to drink and then took her home after she consumed it. So, yeah, I don't think all of that is giving Jarvis, even the second one, if Naziah's baby passed away due to the antifreeze. That is a second charge. That is a second first degree because that's premeditated. He Google searched antifreeze, all of that stuff. Like, that's premeditated. But him taking her life, I don't feel like it is. So the first degree means that he planned on Naziah passing. This is why I feel like it would be helpful if they had Naziah's body so the first degree can stick. That first degree will not stick. It will drop at least to second or third without a body. So, because they don't have a true cause of death. This is why this could be very helpful if because then they could go back into the home maybe and look for certain things or trash or something for a blunt object, even maybe get them to go and question the children that were in the home to see if they saw or heard anything with Naziah. I also think that Naziah could have been, her life could have been taken in that home. That makes so much sense. It really does, because we're all thinking like, okay, well, it didn't happen at the hotel. Then where did it happen? It happening at that house. That makes so much sense. It really does. It does. I just didn't have anything to like link it to be like, well, maybe it happened at the house. There was nothing to link it. But there were many people in the chat saying like, oh, what if she's in the basement? Sean, did they check the basement? And whatnot, blah, blah, blah. I think the police came in there looking for information to find a missing person. I don't think the police went into that home and searched as if they were on a homicide investigation. I don't think that they went in like that. I don't. It was last year. I have not seen a report of the police revisiting or entering the home again after the first time. So, yeah, if there is a significant spot of blood splatter that was in that home, they could still find it. It's still there. If it happened on carpet, number one, if it did they cover it? Did they put a carpet over it? Did they try to clean it at the best of their abilities? Like, where exactly in the home did it happen? In the kitchen, I think the kitchen is like a tile floor. I'm not sure, but I think the kitchen is a tile floor. So if it happened in the kitchen, which 9 times out of 10, that's probably where it would have happened. But I also think a conversation like that, you may want privacy. So, it could have been in the back room or something like that. But I do think the home should be searched again. I do think that all of Shannon's devices needs to be retrieved. All of them. Any device in that home should be taken and looked into. All accounts, all social media accounts, all of that. Because Jarvis is known for having burner IG accounts and stuff like that. So they could have been communicating that way. So when the police are looking for a trail when it comes to text messages or phone calls, they may not have found anything incriminating because they could have done it elsewhere. But it doesn't mean that there isn't sufficient evidence to be able to back that if they looked into the right accounts and whatnot. And I think Shannon is the main protagonist, and she's also a stupid bitch because she still has the same phone, literally. And the mailbox is still full. So it wouldn't be hard to retrieve a decent amount of information because they're stupid. They think because you delete it, it's gone. It's not. It's the internet. It's forever. So as long as you have a cell phone provider, even if it's prepaid, they can go and retrieve erased messages with no problem. Even DMs from like IG, stuff like that, Facebook, they can do the same thing. They can retrieve them. So the electric analysts, the forensic specialists, and all, they can do it just fine. They can pull it right on up. So it's the same thing with Jarvis and Naziah. They erased all of their messages. She would also erase his phone number too. and they still got the messages. So they could do the same thing with Shannon. Shout out to Jen X. She says Naziah's purpose in life was to bring this whole problem to the forefront. She did not pass in vain. No, she did not. Thank you so much for the super sticker, sweetheart. No, she did not. No, she did not, bro. No, she did not. No, she may have gotten another line, but she still has the same cell phone. She's had that same cell phone number since 2021. So I've done my research. I don't know about you, but I've done my research, and it's the same number for her mom, the same exact number, 100% from beginning to end. And she's also still on Annette's lease. Well, not lease, her deed. She's also still on it. Shannon, not Marquetta, none of Shannon is still very so much on it. She sure is. So she may have gotten a second phone, but the phone that I called with the full voice mail box, yeah, she's had that since 2021. Naziah went missing in 2024. So how new is the phone? I don't understand. I just called it, what, the other day? So, yeah, she may have gotten another phone, but she still has that one too. Very so much. And don't you think that looks suspicious, getting rid of a phone right after your niece is missing? You don't think the police gonna look into that? You don't think the police gonna find a suspect at all? At all? They just go, oh, no big deal. She just wanted a new phone. Yeah. So it's still there. So I don't know if y'all would research a little bit more. You open your mouth. Shout out to Shawanda Cole. Thank you so much for the super sticker, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. Yeah. So a sheep out in Barrows that by that old looking White House in the woods. Oh, you think so, Talanda? You think so? Why haven't they found her body yet? It's anyone looking? I don't know if anyone's looking. Like digging type of situation. I don't know about that. Are they still looking for her? Yes. But are they out like digging in areas to where they've heard she may be, or I have no idea. I've not seen anything backing those claims. I really haven't seen any digging information at all. I know that they did the river, like the river. They had like divers and stuff out there and stuff like that. I know they did that, like rivers and stuff, but because I think there's like a river that's not too far from that 7 mile address. But I didn't see anything about them digging. I've not seen anything on that. That's a really good question. I've not seen any digging. Is that a river or a creek? One of them. So I don't know. It could be a creek, but I know that they searched water. I know that for a fact because I read about a detective talking about that, about them searching water for her. I didn't see anything about we were digging over in this area, or I did not see anything or hear any of the detectives state that. Not at all. Yeah. The detective said it was a river. Okay. I could have sworn. Yeah. I've heard people state things about alligators. I really don't feel like an alligator got her. I really don't. And then to say full of gators, it snows and it gets really cold in Michigan around the January time. So, and then even with alligators, they don't eat whole bodies. Like in one bite, it's in their mouth. No. So body parts and stuff like that, there would be still some things lingering. I do feel like there would have been something found if there were gators out there. I don't feel like gators ate her. I think that's one of the stupidest theories I've ever heard. Because it just don't work like that. And there probably are gators in the river. I'm not saying that they're not, but it's not like that. We're not going to make it a river full of alligators. The city would have been done something about that because alligators do come out of the water. So there would be a lot of like on land attacks and stuff like that. So I'm like, that does not make any sense. It's not like she lives like it's not the South or, Florida, or something like that. Like, no, it's not like that. It's not connected to any oceans or anything like that. So that's one of the dumbest theories that I've heard. That's why I have not even. That's some of the stupidest shit. stupid. It's the winter there. Ain't no gators. They're like, where do y'all think Michigan is? I'm like, hello. Like, I've been to Michigan plenty of times. I've never heard anything about gators like that. That's very rare. That's not something that is happening on a day-to-day basis to where people are getting attacked by gators and stuff that are fishing and stuff. No, come on now. The dumbest things I've heard. I just think that's stupid. A very dumb way of thinking. Why would we think about gators but the police wouldn't? What? Michigan don't have a gator problem. Florida do. Florida has a huge gator problem. you know, huge gator problem. There's plenty of people that go in their backyard to go plant something. And it's a gator in the back. You know, like Michigan. I've not heard many reports of that. And then it will probably be like the summer. Um, So that's one of the stupidest things that I've heard. And gators, like they're just like any other animal that they fish kicking. Gators don't just eat deceased bodies like that. Like, no. They like you squirming, moving around. They like you being red blooded, warm. Like they like all of that. They're not like scavenger type of animals. Now, I mean, if food is just extremely scarce, then yeah, they're gonna eat whatever is around them, even each other, and whatnot. But I'm from Indiana. We Michigan's not far. We don't have gator problems there. I've never heard of a gator problem in Michigan City, and we right off Lake Michigan. Like our beach there in Michigan City is right off of Lake Michigan. So we never had any of those issues. The water's very shallow, very nice. You can go out for like a mile or two and the water still be like at your hip. You gotta go real far, for it to start getting like deep, like there is no gator issue. The water's way too shallow for people not to see them. It would be really easy to see a gator in that area. It's like, what? Okay. It's just really stupid. Like it's just a really dumb theory. With nothing to back it, like at all. At all. They searched the river, all of that stuff. They didn't say, well, we can't tell right now because there's so many alligators out here. We don't know. She could have been, consumed by gator. Not one police officer has said anything about alligators in Naziah. Not a one. Not a one. Okay? So that's mighty weird. Like that is just stupid. It's one of the dumbest things I've heard, honestly. Yeah, crocodiles, alligators, all of that. They don't like, you know, um, cold temperatures and stuff like that. They like warm areas. That's why we really don't have that problem in the Midwest. You know, like because they don't be here. They like to stay where it's warm. It's easier for them to hunt, and they like the dry land. It's way easier for them to hunt. Here will be hard. The freezing temperatures, the water freezes in most parts of the Midwest. It gets really cold. The lakes, the rivers, all of that freeze. All of that too. Ain't no gators really like trying to survive it. Like it's hard for them to. That's why they will go elsewhere. Um, what? I'm like, yeah, that's a little weird. But I mean, not the police said something like that, like when we went into the water, when we got our diver teams out there. I don't even think that they would put diving teams out there to search the water if there was a gator crisis or a high population of gators in the water. Why would they even send people into that? There's no way of making sure that they don't get hurt, and things like that. That don't even sound right. We're gonna send you guys in some crocodile-filled waters or gator-filled waters to find a body. What if they thought it's filled with gators or it's a gator issue? It's a high probability that there's not much left of the body, but that don't means that it wouldn't be pieces. Again, gators and crocodiles, it depends how big they are, but they're even if they're giant, they're not just gonna one smack and then it's the whole body in their mouth and whatnot. Like that is weird. That is absolutely weird. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Much all over it. Shout out to Jeanette. She said she was 13. I know she talked to a friend about being pregnant. Girls just do those things. I don't think she did. I don't. I think it's different when you're pregnant by like a boy at school or your friend's older brother, or something like that. I think that information can get out there, but I think Naziah knew the severity of what was going on. It wasn't just him being Jarvis. This is her aunt's boyfriend. So that's a no-no. We've all had plenty of friends that have been abused at home, their families, parents, alcoholics and stuff, hurt them, harm them, and they tell us nothing. Like we have no idea any of that's going on until they get older, and more mature. And then they'll, speak on it when they're more at peace with it, and be like, when I was young, when you used to come over, you had no idea, but my family used to do this, or my dad used to do this, or that type of secret with everything that was involved within it. I don't think Naziah wanted people to know based off of Jarvis, so that she didn't have to risk losing him. I think because he always made it a fact for her to know that being pregnant was wrong. So yeah, I really don't think she told anybody. I don't. And wearing the majority of the clothes that she was wearing and stuff like that, double layers and stuff. I don't think she wanted anybody to know. I don't think she told anyone. There's plenty of things that we go through. When I was going through, when I was younger, I didn't tell nobody. I didn't say a word to anyone. No one. So even if I would have got pregnant, I wouldn't say nothing to nobody. If I was a woman and that was happening to me and I got pregnant, I wouldn't have told anybody. Not that young. I wouldn't have told anyone because I would have felt in trouble. Me. Like not, because when you're young, you're naive. So I don't think Naziah would have looked at it as like Jarvis is going to be in trouble. I think that she didn't tell anybody out of fear that she would get in trouble. So yeah, I don't think she told anybody. I don't think she told a soul besides the people that already knew in the house. So I think the people in the house knew, but I don't think her friends knew. Also, Shannon said when she reached out to Naziah's friends that Naziah's friends were saying that she was, trying to get some D. She never said anything about Naziah's friends saying that she was pregnant. None of Naziah's friends, even the ones that Roxy contacted, none of them said Naziah was pregnant. None of them. So I don't think she told a soul. I don't think she told anybody. And I don't think she was intending to. No. Poor thing. Being so brainwashed. She hung on Jarvis's every word. And Jarvis did not want that information out there. So she would have did her damnedest to protect it. She would have. Is how I feel. So yeah, I don't think she would have told nobody. No. That's something you either just know or you don't. Type of information. Someone said, do you think Shannon did it? I think she had a hand in it, yes. Absolutely. SeanDavieWay, you think she was pregnant twice by Jarvis? I think she was pregnant at least 2 times by Jarvis. And I think the first time she was pregnant, she was 11, in my honest opinion. Because in the text, she asked him to buy her another Plan B like the last time. Correct. Yes. So I do believe. And I think the first time she got pregnant, she was 11. She was only 13. So, super sad. But yeah, I think could have been the 3rd pregnancy. Who knows? But I definitely don't think that was her first time getting pregnant by him when she had already consumed Plan Bs. So yeah, I do think there was multiple pregnancies. If only if her counselor was available, she would still be alive. I really don't think so, Angela. You want to know why? You want to know why I think that? Because even if a counselor wasn't available, another adult was. So there were plenty of people in that school that could have spoke to Naziah. Everybody failed her, including that school. They did too. 100%. Naziah was not a troublesome child. So if she wants to talk to somebody, get to her. Talk to her. Like, I wonder what she wants. Somebody should have talked to her. Rather it was the assistant principal, somebody should have spoke to her. I'm not putting that on the guidance counselor when every adult in that school is supposed to be there for the children's welfare first. So I don't feel that way at all, because that's a hell of a burden to put on that guidance counselor to be like, hey, if you would have been at school that day, or if you would have went to talk to her, she'll still be alive. This is your fault. Because why would a person not take it that way? I would. If a person was just like, if you would have been at school that day, she would have been. I'd be like, well, damn, like, way to make me feel guilty. Like not that I feel like y'all doing that, saying it to make the person feel guilty or place any blame, but I just feel like it's too many adults in that school for somebody not to have talked to her. You can't put that much pressure on a guidance counselor. So if it's only one guidance counselor, they're responsible to speak to an entire school of kids. It's too many damn students to just have one guidance counselor. I'm like, what were the other ones? Because at my school, we had guidance counselors for each grade. Each grade, we had guidance counselors. We sure did. It wasn't just one. Now we have the guidance counselor that had her own office, but she had a team of other like co-guidance counselors that helped, because it was too many kids to just have one person do all that. Like, no, that's way too much. No. So, yeah, we have multiple guidance counselors. We didn't just have one, but a lot of teachers, would step in too. So yeah, it was way too many adults in that school for it to be put onto one. No, that whole school fell her. Not just, you know, one counselor. I don't. Yeah, I feel badly. I wish she would have talked to somebody. It didn't have to be a guidance counselor. It could have been anybody, just an adult, just so somebody could have checked her temperature, and seen like, okay, well, what was she thinking? Did she know anything? Did she want to talk to a guidance counselor because of the energy she felt? That was Shannon threatening her, or something like that? Who knows what the poor girl wanted to talk about? Who knows? But she wasn't saying nothing about that pregnancy unless she was just asking about pregnancy in general. She was not going to say nothing about being pregnant by Jarvis. I just don't feel that that's what she wanted to talk about. I don't. Not at all. So was Jarvis brother talking the day before, like January 8th? Huh? Huh, sweetie? Kids don't talk to adults now because they are required to tell the parents. Well, I could see that. But Naziah wanted to talk. So whether they was going to tell the parents or not, she wanted to talk. It wasn't a guidance counselor trying to talk to her. It was the other way around. She wanted to talk to one. So, yeah, I think that it's a little different. Um, you know, I don't think anyone told pregnancy being all the family was assuming she was pregnant. But right. But it was Shannon trying to make it seem like she was pregnant by somebody at school for me. You know who she pregnant by, ho. You got your nerve, Shannon. Um, my school only had one, and she didn't. Shout out to Miss Chris. She said we only had one. She didn't work out damn thing. Yesterday they found a body behind trash cans. Oh, okay, I'm gonna look into that. Send that to me. SeanDavieWay at IG. You're right. When I was 15, another. Sorry. Used to monitor my pad usage because she was buying. Then my mother will ask me why was the box still full. Sorry, jumped. The box was full, and I had to tell her I was on my street. Right. Correct. Correct. Somebody tell Sean that. Tell me what. Tell me what. My mother said you better not be pregnant. I was stuck in my mind, and I didn't have my first child until I was 20. Yes. But I mean, it's different when you being SA'd. It's different when you out there making it, giving consent. To sleep with people versus somebody grooming you into doing something that is completely wrong, but making you feel like it's right, gaslighting you and making you feel like it's right. So to me, that's different. The substitute teacher asked her what was wrong when she was on the floor. When was she on the floor? Sean, somebody on TikTok saying she is a lot. Girl, I don't have the energy right now. I don't have the energy right now. I'm so drained. From this, I'm so drained. The tablet, but I'll look into it later. The tablet with the picnic from the school. The other tablet was grandmother bought for Christmas. Yeah, she did have two tablets. Yes, she was groomed. Yes, she was. She sure was. The super substitute teacher knew something and didn't do nothing. Yeah, I think she was going into labor when she got on the floor. Every female and adult Right. Dance videos. So how did no one at school realize she was? I'm not gonna say that. I'm not going to say, you know how like when you see someone and you think that they're pregnant but you don't say nothing? So I think that people kind of thought that she were, but it wasn't like verified. Um, yeah, I don't think she verified it. I don't think she was just like, yeah, I'm pregnant. That's what I think. Um, but I do think people knew. Fact. Yeah, that's what we're not gonna do. Make it look like didn't nobody know. I do feel like people knew. It just wasn't confirmed. She didn't confirm it. Um, but I think maybe some of her friends or people that saw her maybe thought like, is she? Um, so yeah, and then you have to think about the age. She's 13, so most people's minds is gonna go to nah. It's kind of like you look at it. It's like nah, she a kid. She ain't pregnant. She probably just bloated. She probably just gaining weight. Because no one wants to look at a 30-year-old and be like, you're pregnant. Like, nobody wants to look at it. Come on now. So, I think that's what it was. So I do feel like people knew, though. I don't think it was like, a secret. It just wasn't on display. So, yeah, I think people maybe had ideas. Like, yeah, I wonder if she's pregnant. Is she pregnant? Yeah, I think she's pregnant, girl. Now, that was probably rumors and stuff circulating, but I think the body found this wasn't her. But Jarvis had something to do with correct. I agree. Jarvis definitely had something to do with this too. This was not Shannon acting alone. They did this as a group, so they should go to jail as a group. That's how I feel. Everybody need to be locked up, including Annette. Or wasn't sleeping with kids. Right. Craziness. So yeah, no problem. You guys are welcome for the update. I love you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I will be back tomorrow. I'm gonna look into some stuff. I want to send this email before it's too late because I think I'm sure it's Saturday, so I'm sure the office of the police department is closed. But I do want to send this email up because I don't want to forget to do that and send this video so that the police have it in their custody. So I love you guys. So thank y'all so much for being here. Thank y'all for liking the video. Over 1,300 likes in this live. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all stay with me over 1,600 strong. I really appreciate that, guys. I really love you guys. I will keep you up. I will be posted on anything that is worth listening to. The other stuff we will just ignore because, like them talking about some she's alive and I was like, I ain't got time for that. So yes, I love you guys. So I will see y'all on the next side. Thank you so much for being here. And until the next one, y'all be safe. Justice for Naziyah Harris. Shout out to the distant Harris family, the ones that wasn't living over there with that damn Annette. I love y'all in the next show.